we should really soak in, because before we know it, it's going to be cold again here in Wisconsin this winter. Going to show you a quick little roundup of what we have on the feeds right now, which it's a Friday afternoon. If you've joined us on Fridays before, sometimes the feeds are a little quiet. Don't worry, we've got plenty of interviews scheduled for you today. But really the only thing going on active on the feeds is this White House stakeout cam. So we'll keep our eye on there, see if any lawmakers or leaders come out and talk to members of the media. You might notice that kind of stand of microphones all set up and ready to go. You never know who you'll catch, but sometimes they will come out and they'll talk on the latest, which of course could be touching on the government shutdown, which did end this week after 43 days, the longest in the country's history. We do have plenty of stories to get to here locally. We should be joined at some point by our very own Ashley Sears, as well as Jason Calvi, as they continue to news gather for their stories here on Fox Local later today. But to start things out, we're actually joined by our very own Brett Lemoyne. He's over there in Waukesha because a week from today will mark 4 years since the Waukesha Christmas Parade attack. And Brett, they are continuing to remember the lives lost in that, as well as those who were hurt, aren't they?
They certainly are. I mean, Haley, it's a day that Waukesha will never forget, and one of the ways that they keep the spirit of those killed and hurt alive is through this memorial here at Grady Park. I want to show you this down here on the ground. This is a slab where the latest memorial is going to go. It's called Holding Love, and it will be dedicated here at Grady Park next week Friday at 4:39 p.m. And that, of course, marks the time when a driver went through the Waukesha Christmas Parade back on November 21st of 2021 and killed 6 people. Of course, dozens of others were hurt. There's been physical pain from this. There's been emotional pain as well. But I think we have, Haley, a photo of Holding Love. I'd like to bring that up so that our audience can see what this new memorial, perfect, is going to look like. Again, it's called Holding Love. It's mammoth. It's going to be 6 feet tall, 6 feet 2 inches tall, 4 feet wide, about 2 feet deep. It's going to weigh, when it's all done, about 500 to 700 pounds. What's really interesting about this memorial, Haley, is that it's actually carved out of foam. It's hard to believe that inside of that memorial, these 2 hands that are holding a heart that is actually carved out of foam. We spoke with the artist earlier this week. Her name is Carmen de la Paz. You probably will be familiar with her. She's maybe arguably one of the most famous people who lives in Waukesha. But she told us that she came up with this idea right after the parade attack, and she was one of the artists who submitted their designs for the main memorial here at Grady Park. Now, ultimately, in September of, I believe it was 2022, Thrive Architects was chosen for this memorial here, and then also a separate memorial that is already in place on Main Street where the attack happened. But the commission, there was a 13-panel commission that was appointed by the city, made up of people who were impacted by this tragedy, family members, loved ones, also members of the fire department, police department, and whatnot. They all came together, and they were the ones that chose the ultimate designs that you see here. But they loved Carmen so much, that holding hands sculpture, that they also wanted to incorporate that as well. It costs quite a bit of money. If you remember, Haley, this whole park here, including the Main Street Memorial, cost about $1.3 million. Carmen's is about $10,000 of that. She's been working on it since nonstop, really, since July. It takes an awfully long time to put that together. And so what she's doing is she had to project onto blocks of foam an image of the hands that she wanted to sculpt, and then she chiseled from that foam the hands. Now she's in the process of basically coating all of that foam with an industrial type cement. It's so strong, Haley, that I'm told it's used at airports and at theme parks.
Wow.
And it's yeah, so that it withstands, you know, extreme temperatures. But I want to tell you just a little bit more about Carmen, because she's an incredible woman. You might recognize the name. She was a carpenter on HGTV. She currently hosts the Spanish language version of Ask This Old House on the Roku channel. She's also an editor of a magazine. She's a busy lady. And when Grady Park, when the memorial here kind of started to take shape, she came up with this concept of this tile wall here. And so this is such a touching tribute here in Waukesha. I come here often, and there's always people that are standing here. There actually are two people that are behind us here that just came to look at the tile wall as well. But it's such an incredible concept here, because this was all done by members of the community. There are more than 700 tiles that were put up on this wall, and each and every slab, each piece of clay here was done by Carmen. So she rolled all of this clay, and then people came and they donated money to have a tile, and they could put their own design on it. There's so many incredible messages like Waukesha Strong, and You Are Not Forgotten, Heal, this one says, to heal the future, prayers for all. I mean, it's just a really, really touching memorial. I came out, I have a tile on the wall as well. Me and my family put one up here. But this was a labor of love from Carmen, and it took her so long and so many hours to put this together, because some of these actually, some of them broke when they were in the kiln. And Carmen went through and she said she had to redo 100 tiles on her own. So in other words, you came up with a design like this one here, and maybe it broke. Well, Carmen didn't want those to go to waste, and she didn't want people to feel like their tile wasn't done. So she painstakingly recreated 100 of these on her own so that they could be part of the wall here. She is going to be one of the speakers next week, Friday, as we mark 4 years since the attack, and also dedicate that statue that she will have up here in the park. It's just really an incredible story, and means so much. We can see, I hate to draw attention to these ladies that are here on the bench reflecting on their own, but it just kind of goes to show you how this space has really kind of evolved and come to be to honor those that we have lost and those who were hurt. I remember growing up in Waukesha, frankly, I never came to Grady Park. I never came to this park, and it's pretty much right in downtown Waukesha. It was kind of underutilized, and so this has kind of also revitalized this park. So Haley, it's certainly something that we'll be paying attention to and coming back next week for that ceremony.
Yeah, Brett, that is amazing, hearing everything that Carmen has done for this memorial, especially being so busy, but for her to know, how important this was for the community to remember those lives that were lost and to create a space for people to go and remember them. I'm curious, when it comes to this new statue that will be in place next week, does she hope that the families of the victims take away a certain message when they see it?
Oh, absolutely. The theme to all of the Waukesha Strong and the tragedy that it was has always been the heart shape, right? So Thrive Architects, when they designed the main memorial here, it's 6 benches for each of the 6 individuals who were killed, and each one is kind of like a ribbon that comes around and comes together in the center to form this giant heart. The memorial on Main Street also is in the shape of a heart. And so Carmen wanted to kind of take that idea, that concept of the heart that was so synonymous with Waukesha Strong. And she said she really just wanted to show hands opening up to love and holding that heart. And what's interesting is the final version is going to differ maybe just a little slightly from that rendering that we showed earlier, because the heart itself is going to be made up of a mosaic of those broken tiles, those broken blue tiles that Carmen had to recreate. So she's going to break them all up into smaller pieces. And I thought that was so symbolic too, because it was such a project that people came together for, and now out of the ashes, if you will, of these tiles that did not make it, there is new life that is coming through. And I thought that was just such a symbolic thing too. It's such a kind of a neat little note for our audience to know that that's what that is. But yeah, she said she's finding it difficult to think of what to say next week because she has just been so moved. She grew up in Waukesha. I believe she's a Waukesha South graduate herself. And, you know, she went off to find huge success on HGTV and on her own show now. And she still lives in Waukesha. She still has studio space in Waukesha. She's still creating. Even, I believe, from her Roku show, she's had homeowners that she's helped out, not only in the Waukesha area, but also in the Milwaukee area. So this community means a great deal to her, and this is kind of her way of giving back.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that she's not letting those broken tiles go to waste, but creating something beautiful out of them, just being so intentional there, Brett. We know that ceremony is a week from today, but we also know that the Christmas parade will be back in Waukesha December 7th, right?
That is correct. Yep, hosted by the Chamber of Commerce here in Waukesha. It'll be the route that it typically is down Main Street. Of course, it's a very difficult time for a lot of people. Some individuals still have not been able to find the strength, and you can't blame them, to be able to even come back to downtown Waukesha, let alone the Christmas parade. So it's with heavy hearts, but there's also a sense of moving forward and healing as well.
Yes, absolutely. I know they begin that parade now with that lantern walk to once again remember those lives lost. A beautiful thing that they're doing in Waukesha, a community that continues to heal. So, Brett, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on the memorial. We'll make sure and stay tuned for your full story coming up later today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's the latest coming out of, again, a new memorial in Waukesha to remember those 6 lives lost 4 years ago in the Waukesha Christmas parade attack. Brett, when he was talking about those broken tiles being used in this new statue, almost gave me chills, because what a beautiful thing to make sure that those who came out and wanted to donate money and to honor those lives lost, and I'm sure this was part of their healing journey, and then they didn't make it through the kiln, it's still going to be a part now of this new statue. And of course, their tiles were remade, so it's on the wall as well. Absolutely just beautiful to hear all about that. And I love that this space is clearly being used, you know, as we saw several people there who wanted to go and reflect and remember, which is what that park was designed to do. All right, so we've got a couple of things popping up here on the feeds. So we're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live desk. I'll see what we can find, and we'll bring you some more news really quickly, just 2 minutes away. Stick with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk this Friday afternoon. Time check for you, 12:46. I'll be with you here until 2:30. Then our very own Sam Kramer is taking over for the last hour of the Wisconsin Live Desk today. We do have a kind of a roundup of things to bring you to. I'm going to start though again. I think that we're going to rename this. This is the new bird cam, but it's the spider cam because this spider is just hard at work this Friday afternoon. Maybe he's working to get his weekend as well because he's doing something with the spider web. But otherwise, if you ignore the creepy crawly, beautiful day in downtown Milwaukee. Loving the blue skies. Also seeing Fiserv Forum in the background there. If you're still looking for some plans this weekend, 2 home Bucks games. They're playing the Charlotte Hornets tonight, and they're playing the Los Angeles Lakers tomorrow. Always a good time when you can go and cheer on the Bucks. Delaney and I were talking about going to the Bucks game. Are we still feeling like maybe we're going to do that tonight?
I think so.
Okay, I love that. We need to still get tickets, but eventually we'll do that. And then we'll be good to go.
It's in the works.
It's in the works. Also in the works is your next Green Bay Packers game. We'll take a live look here at Lambeau because I need the spider off my screen. I don't love spiders. Of course, Packers are not at home, so they will not be playing here. But if they were, beautiful weather this weekend. No, they're playing the New York Giants, so they'll be heading out to the East Coast to play them. We're hoping for a victory. I think the Giants are 2-8. But again, we were talking to TVV earlier this week. When you lose to the Browns and you lose to the Carolina Panthers, you don't want to get too cocky about potentially beating the Giants. Of course, we want that because they've already lost back-to-back games. We don't want to make it 3 in a row. If you are not traveling, I always say New York, but I swear the stadium's in New Jersey. Either way, if you are not traveling to the East Coast, you're good. We've got the game for you right here on Fox 6. 10 a.m. Fox NFL kickoff, 11 a.m. Fox NFL Sunday. The game is a noon kickoff. And then you got your special edition of FOX6 News after the game. And, of course, FOX6 Sports Blitz. So lots of things to look forward to on Sunday. Delaney, what are your thoughts? Who's going to get the victory here? Packers or Giants?
It's hard to say. I hope the Packers, but we'll see.
Yeah, I hope for the sake of everybody who loves the Green Bay Packers that the Packers get the win. Because it was a disappointing Monday Night Football game.
Definitely. So hopefully they can redeem themselves.
I think it was disappointing if you're an Eagles fan, too. I mean, it was just not a great game.
No.
10-7 was the final score. It was 0-0 at half. So we should
probably low-scoring game.
Low-scoring game. We should probably focus on a highlight instead of a low light, which is we have exciting news. If you guys remember a few weeks ago, Brady Keiss, a party animal in the Banana Ball League, joined us here in the Wisconsin Live Desk. He is a Milwaukee native who was really hoping in the draft, which is the first year they've done this kind of draft in all of Banana Ball League, that he was going to stay a party animal because the party animals are coming here in June. So last night was the draft, and Delaney, I'm so happy to report Brady did it. There he is. I'm sure that's how he was dancing last night. Party Animals drafted him in the 4th round, so he gets to stay a party animal. He already posted on Instagram. He's so excited. And honestly, Delaney, I'm just so happy for like all of his friends and family who will get to see him play at AmFam.
I know, that's so exciting, and for him too, growing up in the area.
I mean, I can't imagine growing up, like going to Brewers games, never thinking, oh, one day I'll take the mound. He's a relief pitcher for the Party Animals. Myself here, and get to play in front of all of those people, but he gets to do it.
I know, that's so exciting for him.
I know, I'm really happy for him. Really happy also just the Party Animals in general. Did you watch any of the, oh, sorry, Delaney, surprised you there. Did you watch any of the draft last night?
I did not.
Okay, so I did watch the first couple of rounds, and they're introducing 2 new teams, so they had to draft a lot of players. But the Party Animal strategy was really to just draft party animals. They didn't want to get, there's a ton of new talent that they could have gotten, but the Party Animals won the Banana Ball League this past year. They're the champions.
Oh, exciting.
I know. Also, Brady's humble, because the entire time he came in here, he never once mentioned that.
No.
Yeah, they won 2023 and 2025, so they're the reigning champions.
Wow, good to know.
Good to know. I feel like in his honor, maybe we should do the Party Animals dance he taught us. Do you need a quick
I
lesson?
remember it. I need a quick lesson.
Okay. Everyone at home can do this too. This is, I believe, after the party animals first hit. This is the dance. Is that what they said?
I want to say, yeah.
I think it's after the first hit.
Yeah.
If it's not the first hit, it's the first run. This is what they do. It's to party rock anthem. So fitting for the party animals. You go with your elbow, I guess. Yep. 2 to the right. 2 to the left. 4 in the middle. So then you do both. Delaney crushes this dance. They repeat it 4 times. We just repeat it twice here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. So here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 to the right. 2 to the left. 4 in the middle. Crushing it. That's the Party Animals dance, which you can see in person come June. They'll be playing AmFam. Hopefully you applied for the lottery because the deadline to do that was October 31st. So we'll find out soon. Delaney and I entered Delaney. So yes,
yeah,
we did
both
enter.
applied.
We did. So hopefully we get picked and we can buy our tickets to go see Brady in person.
I know, that sounds like a ton of fun.
It really does. And we'll try and get Brady to come back to the Wisconsin Live Desk to talk about staying a party animal. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to try to get him back on.
Yeah. I feel like if he was here, he would love Question of the Day, so we should probably do Question of the Day.
Let's do it.
Okay, National Pickle Day. Are you a fan of pickles?
I am. I love pickles.
Okay, I love this. Have you always loved pickles from a young age? When did this kind of take over, happen for you?
Always loved pickles.
I love that for
Yeah.
you. I never would try pickles for the longest time. Then I had fried pickles, which, great. And if I get a pickle, like with a sandwich, if somebody around me is like, I love pickles, I'm going to give them my pickle. But otherwise, I'll eat it. You know, like I'm just kind of indifferent, I guess, is the best way to say.
Yeah.
So I don't hate it.
It's nice to have that friend who's willing to give you the pickle. That's the problem. Like, all my friends and I, we love pickles.
Oh.
So nobody gets an extra pickle if there's pickle on the side.
If we go to the Bucks game tonight and we get something with pickles, you can have my pickle for pickle day.
Thank you.
I got you. And you got us because you made us a true or false question. So let's pull that up. True or false, American households buy pickles every 32 days. Okay, Delaney loves, I've noticed, to just go with true. We very rarely have a false. I don't know how you would decide this because, like, your household could be one person, your household could be 12. So on average, 32 days, I mean, how, are we eating a giant thing of, let's go true.
This one is false. It's every 53 days.
How many?
53.
Okay, you know what? That makes sense to me. I cannot believe you gave us a false. That's the first one in, no joke, 2 weeks.
I know, it's the first time in so long. I had the same thought making question of the day.
Yeah,
I
you
haven't
got
done
us.
false in so long.
You got us because you tricked us a little bit there. All right, cool. We have several things coming up on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Coming up next is the well-read damsel, right? That's one?
Yes.
Yes. Which we're excited to talk about because Delaney and I are both in Tosa, and this is a Tosa bookstore, so we can't wait to do that. We've got other things slated for later today. We have something that's just straight red behind me. We'll have to do some digging, see what we can find is popping up here on the feeds right now. We do have a couple national stories that I can very quickly take you through. I want to start here. This is a live shot that is coming to us out of California, Altadena. This is U.S. Senator Adam Schiff, who is touring the Eaton Fire Collaborative Center, as well as meeting with some local officials just to learn about the support that's being provided to the community after the Eaton fire earlier this year, and just kind of the challenges that the community still has. So he is doing the tour, it looks like right now. We do know there's potentially time for some question and answer, so we'll keep our eye here on this feed. And then this one popped up just a few minutes ago as well. This is coming to us out of Indiana. So this is actually a very tragic story. You might be able to already see some of the damage from a crash there on your screen. 4 Indiana National Guardsmen were involved in a Humvee accident. We're told 3 soldiers are hurt and another one died in this accident. So they're continuing to just investigate what exactly happened. I know they're trying to notify families right now, but you can see clearly still a very strong police presence on scene as they work to get answers and work to notify loved ones. But again, this is 4 guardsmen out of Indiana that were involved in this. 3 are hurt and 1 has died in this collision. So we're going to keep our eyes on that feed as well. Otherwise, again, kind of a quiet feed day nationally, but that's okay. We've got a lot planned locally for you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. So let's take another break and then we'll get ready to talk books, which I'm excited about. I love a good book. And I can't wait to hear how she's going to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of The Well-Read Damsel. So stay tuned. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk this Friday afternoon. Creeping up here on the 1 o'clock hour, which means I've got about another hour and a half with you before Sam Kramer takes over here at 2:30. And then once Wisconsin Live Desk ends at 3:30, go outside. It's so nice. It's so beautiful. Soak up the sunshine and then join us again, of course, as soon as our 4 p.m. newscast starts because we've got a lot of good news and stories coming up for you today. We also just have some really exciting news and stories for you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We get to bring in our first live guest of the day. Natasha is joining us from The Well-Read Damsel over in Wauwatosa. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thank you so much for having me. It's fun. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, we are so excited to chat with you. I mean, for starters, if people have not been to the Well-Read Damsel, it is a romance-only bookstore. What gave you this idea to start this business?
Yeah, so I am a lifelong reader, and I think like most readers, you dream of one day owning a bookstore. But for me, especially later in life, like I just started reading really only romance and fantasy. So I always joke that like if I had a bookstore, I could not recommend a nonfiction book about World War One because it's just not what I read, but I can definitely recommend romance. I had been to a few romance-only bookstores across the US, and I just was like, I wish we had something like this in Milwaukee. And then one day was like, what if I just make that happen?
Yeah, so you did it a year ago. Well, it started with a pop-up, right?
Yes, yeah. So we started as a pop-up last November. We had our first event at Ray's Bar in Tosa. What I thought would just be a way for my friends and family to celebrate the start of this turned into an insane night. We had lines going for the entire 3 hours. Hundreds of people came out, and it was just me and my bookshelf and a table, and we sold out of hundreds of books. I think we had 10 books left by the end of the night, and it's only gotten crazier from there.
Yeah, clearly the demand for a romance only bookstore was there from the get go. And I just feel like there is something about romance and fantasy right now that it's having a moment. What do you think it is about this genre that's drawing in so many readers?
Yeah, I think, well, we know romance has always been a genre. I think with the help of TikTok, social media, things like that, there's a little less of a stigma around reading romance. People are out there talking about it now. But then also, the world is a crazy place, and romance books and fantasy books are such a great way to escape and forget about everyday life
Yeah.
and just kind of immerse yourself in something new. And so I do think there's a lot of factors, but that's probably the biggest one.
No, I think it's so true that it is a nice escape. It's also not something I have to think too much about. You know, it's not
Yes.
like, let me dissect what this line was really the author. You get what they're saying. And it is such a community. Like, there's something so fun about seeing somebody else read that Colleen Hoover book that you've read and you want their take on it. And I feel like that's something I follow you on Instagram that I see you
Yeah.
say all the time is that, like, the romance reader community is strong and they will show up.
Yeah, especially in Milwaukee. I knew they were out there before I started this. Like my friends and I had a book club and we talked about reading all the time and we're like, we know there's other people like us out there. And they very quickly have found us and we're so thankful for it. But it's something that I can't even like put into words half the time. People will come into the store and it's such a great conversation starter. Like somebody picks up a book and you're like, oh my gosh, I read it and I loved it. Or no, I didn't like that book, but you should check out this one. And it's such an easy connector. And I think
Hmm.
everyone out there is always looking for connection. And it's such a easy and simple way. And we all love readings. And I feel like most readers are pretty amazing. So we're thankful to be a small part of the Milwaukee book community for sure.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't want to bury the lead. You are celebrating your 1 year anniversary. So, I mean,
Yes.
happy birthday to the well read damsel. And how are you
Thank you.
celebrating?
Yeah, so we celebrated 1 year actually last week, but we're going to be having our in-store celebration tomorrow, Saturday, September 5th, or no, November 15th. We're going to be doing a lot of things. We have prize bags for the first 30 people in the door. So we're keeping a little bit of a secret what it is, but it might be books, stickers, bookmarks, things like that. The first 100 customers will get free cotton candy from Cottonmouth Cotton Candy Company. We have Kismet permanent jewelry that's going to be in-house. We've done a lot of events with her. She's amazing. So she'll be doing like permanent jewelry for anyone interested. We have two authors that are going to be in store. We're having our first sale. We've never had an in-store sale. We always have a pink prize wheel. So every time you purchase something, you get to spin the pink prize wheel, some new merch. And then my dog Bert, who is well loved, he will also be there.
I would say he's like the co owner, technically, right?
He is. He's technically the co-owner. He's not the best employee. He sleeps on the job a lot, but he is great for morale in the
Yeah.
office for sure.
No, absolutely. It's so fun what you're doing tomorrow. But I should mention, I feel like you're doing events and things like this all the time, whether it be a book club, an author signing, a dinner. Tell me more about what we can find over at your place.
Yeah. So we run 5 book clubs every month. We have a fantasy book club, queer romance. We have one that we do with a neighboring business called the Well Nourished Book Club. Um, Then we have a Yee Hockey Book Club, which is for hockey romance and cowboy romances. And then we have our Unhinged Romance Book Club for the more wild books. And for all of that information, you can always find it on our website or Eventbrite. We do author signings every month. We have a midnight release party for a new book coming out on Tuesday. So we're always trying to find fun, creative ways to get more readers to come hang out with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, for Delaney and I, we love that you are in Wauwatosa because we live in Tosa. But what about Tosa made you go, that's the spot I want to open this store?
Selfishly, I also live in Tosa, so it was when I was looking for a spot, the goal with our pop-up was always to have a store. I didn't think it would happen so quickly, but kind of immediately started looking at spaces and actually found this space before our first pop-up event, which is crazy. Just took a little bit of time for us to get in there. But I love North Avenue, especially in East Tosa. I think it is such an amazing street of a lot of women-owned businesses that are super supportive, super collaborative, and being in that section has been like so invigorating, and I had a feeling it would be. Um, but so yeah, I just love the Tosa community because we live here, but also East Tosa on North Ave. It's kind of hard to beat.
I would have to agree with you. And speaking of this community, I thought it was so cool. You started doing a food drive. Obviously, the government shut down, SNAP funding was in question, and I feel like the community showed up huge. Tell me more about that.
We did. So, in collaboration with one of our friends, Milwaukee Books and Beers, we put together a food drive. We called it Noodles for Neighbors. And in 4 days, we collected over 700 pounds of food. People could sign up to have, if they needed a box for their family, so they were able to get boxes. And then we donated the rest to Kinship in Milwaukee. But yeah, over 700 pounds of food. It filled up our entire storefront. And local author Brittany Cherry was really amazing to help with our initiative. And she came in and donated dozens of signed books to give out to people if they donated. So it was a great way to get a book and still help out our community.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I should just say your store in general, so cute. Like I walked in there, I loved it. I saw on Instagram, and I'm hoping this is the case. You had a Jeremiah sticker on the trash can. Is that real?
Yes, we did. So we had a Samurai Turn Pretty finale watch party, and it was from the decor because we were obviously Team Conrad, as the world should be. And so I thought it'd be funny to put the Team Jeremiah stickers on the garbage can, and then they just never left. And there's been a lot of viral social media videos about them, and it makes everyone chuckle. So a way to spruce up our garbage cans a
I
little
say,
bit.
Natasha, you can leave the sticker there because that's where Jeremiah belongs, is in the trash because he's trash. Delaney and I are also Team Conrad.
Yeah, exactly where he belongs.
Yes. Okay, so that'd be a good series for someone to read, Jenny Han, The Summer I Turned Pretty. But while we have you here, I feel like we have to get a book recommendation from the expert.
Yeah. Okay, I have one in front of me that, so I feel like it's been one of our biggest sellers this fall. We literally sold 30 of them in less than 30 minutes
Oh,
on release
wow.
day. It's called If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. I actually just have it here because we're shipping out an online order. But it's like small town Gilmore Girls set in the 90s, like a fun fall vibe. I am also loving local author Katie Michelle. We sell a lot of her books, but if you're looking to support someone local and try something new, all of her books are amazing. And then if you're into fantasy, Quicksilver is a big one by Callie Hart. The sequel comes out next week. That's what our midnight release party is going to be for. So that's what I'm currently rereading so I can get some inspiration for the party. But it's a fun, like fairies and magic and all those things.
Love it. I love all the suggestions.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, remind us all the details we need to know for tomorrow for the anniversary party one more time.
Yeah, so November 15th will be open from 10 to 5. The first 30 customers will get a fun swag bag, but we'll have everything else going on all day long. So come stop by and find a new romance book.
It's a plan. We love that the Well-Read Damsel exists. We love that it's in Tosa, and we love that you're celebrating turning one. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. All right, that was so much fun getting to hear about the Well-Read Damsel before they turn one tomorrow. Again, right off North Street in Wauwatosa, the cutest bookstore. I love getting to support an independent bookstore, and I also love getting to find new authors, local authors, and just read a new book. I think that this is a great day to take that book outside and just escape reality for a little bit. So fun. All right, we're going to take another quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and then we will be back in just a couple minutes. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk this Friday afternoon, where it is now 1:12 and 65 degrees out. Question for you, are we over the spider shot yet, or do we still find this little spider that is right in front of our camera kind of fascinating? I think I'm still finding it fascinating. It's a good judge of the wind because we can really see him bouncing around right there. But beautiful day outside. I mean, just plain blue skies, not a cloud out there, 65 degrees. I don't know what your plans are today, but yeah, get outside. Delaney and I are going to have to do something outside either before or after the Bucks game if we go to it, because that's still a tentative plan. Want to just kind of give you a roundup of what we have on the feeds. A couple of things are just recapped because we've already shown them to you, but they're still going on. Of course, we've got this one that's out of California, where representatives are kind of touring an Eaton fire center as they continue to investigate and learn the recovery efforts, the resources that are available. This looks like it would be some resources to homeowners potentially having to rebuild from the devastation of that fire earlier this year. We also have this live shot, which if you look on the left kind of side, you'll see that road is shut down. That is due to a fatal car accident out of Indiana, and it does involve a military vehicle. Again, 4 Indiana National Guardsmen were involved in a Humvee accident. We are told that 3 soldiers were hurt in this, and 1 unfortunately did lose their life. So they're continuing to work to investigate and kind of piece together what exactly happened, as well as contact families. But you can see the highway still shut down there on the left side, and plenty of police vehicles are also still out and about. Some other big news that has just come down that is going to, I think, impact a lot of people is that a federal bankruptcy court judge just moments ago said he will approve OxyContin maker Purdue Pharma's latest deal to settle thousands of lawsuits over the toll of opioids. That includes some money for thousands of victims of the epidemic. The deal was overseen by U.S. bankruptcy judge Sean Lane, and it will require members of the Sackler family who own the company to contribute up to $7 billion, as well as give up ownership. This new agreement replaces one the U.S. Supreme Court rejected last year, because we know this has been an ongoing epidemic and an ongoing legal battle. So yeah, it found that it would have improperly protected members of the family against future lawsuits. The judge said he's going to explain this decision a little bit more on Tuesday in a hearing. But again, the big news here, a federal bankruptcy court judge on Friday said he will approve Purdue Pharma's latest deal to settle thousands of lawsuits over the toll of opioids, which does include money for thousands of victims of the epidemic. And again, they need to contribute up to $7 billion. So some big breaking news there, especially when you talk about that opioid epidemic. Continuing to follow a lot of stories here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. I know we're going to get to hear from our very own Ashley Sears pretty soon as we talk about some sheep on the loose. So let's take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll be back in 2 minutes with more details.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. It's Haley Spittler with you for about the next hour or so. Then Sam Kramer will take over at 2:30, getting you to 3:30 this Friday afternoon. Okay, so just as a side note, we tend to call the Wisconsin Live Desk wild behind the scenes, which is so fitting for this next story, which is just pretty wild. We're talking kind of missing sheep on the loose in Mequon. We're being joined right now by our very own Ashley Sears, who you said where you're at right now is the last spotted place for the sheep. What's going on here, Ashley?
No, this is one of the first spots that the sheep were found originally. So this is kind of a fun story. We don't often get to do a story about sheep that are on the lam, as if you will. But this all dates back a few weeks ago. Mequon police told us that about 3 weeks ago, they started getting these calls about 3 sheep that people were spotting in their yards, in the street, kind of all around Mequon. And they're saying like, hey, what's up with this? So for the last 3 weeks, they've been getting these calls. We've been told that one of those sheep has now gone rogue. It's no longer with the pack. There's just 2 of them now traveling together. And yeah, it's pretty wild. We talked to a woman today. She lives around the lakefront. In the last 2 days, those sheep have been in her backyard. And she went so far as to buy food for them from Blaine's Farm and Fleet. She got these pellets of mineral pellets for them to eat. She put out water, and they were hanging around for a while, and they disappeared. At last check, we were told that they've made their way up past Concordia University, kind of by Pioneer Road near the lakefront. So photojournalist Eddie Poser and I went out searching for them today, and what a fun adventure we went on. We saw horses, we saw deer, and we saw a lot of people walking around, but we did not find any sheep so far. So it's been kind of a fun story, but Mequon police tell us they've been taking about half a dozen calls a day about this, which is kind of wild when you think about it, that, you know, that many people are seeing the sheep all around, and they don't know where they came from. Police said they tried to figure out where did they come from, where are they supposed to be. They said they were able to kind of figure out an original owner, and then that owner sold them to someone else, and then the next owner said they sold them to someone, and it just goes on, but they have no idea how these sheep got out, where they're coming from, where they're going, or what they're doing. But a lot of people are kind of having fun spotting them all around Mequon here.
I say it seems like there's a lot of questions, not a ton of answers as far as the history of these sheep. My question for you, Ashley, when you woke up this morning, did you think that your assignment would be trying to find some sheep?
Well, I can tell you, Haley, I've got anxiety from the moment I wake up about what stories I'm going to pitch today. And this was in my head from the moment I woke up, saying, I'm going to pitch this story. If there's any day to do it, it's a Friday. On the beautiful day like this, everyone needs a little fun in their life. So yes, I actually did think this could happen today. Maybe my greatest journalistic endeavor yet.
Oh, that is saying something, Ashley. No, such a fun story. I know you talked to the Mequon police. I mean, is there something we're supposed to do if we happen to spot these sheep?
Well, you know, they said that their officers have been called out trying to wrangle these sheep, and with each call, they think they get close, and they have no way to catch them. They run off. They're very skittish, I'm told, but they said they do know a farmer that is willing to take them. And the woman I spoke with today, who had them in her backyard for a while, she said, you know, it's all fun and everybody's like joking about this, but she says, you know, she really wants what's best for them. She doesn't want them out here in the winter. So she's hoping that someone sees the story and says, hey, I know how to catch them. If you see them, like maybe we can do something with them. But police said they've tried getting help from the DNR and the Humane Society, but because they're farm animals, they aren't able to do anything about this. So Mequon police said if they're able to catch them and wrangle them, then there is a place they can go, but they haven't had any luck yet.
Yeah, and now we're technically looking for 2 different sets of sheep, right? Because we've got the one that's by himself and 2 that are still together.
Yeah, and no one knows where the one is though. The single sheep, I don't know if a lot of people have seen that one now. So yeah, we don't know where that one is. The two sheep are traveling together, and I'm told they're very close at all times. So I don't know if one is maybe a mother sheep and a baby sheep. I'm only hypothesizing. I have no idea about sheep. So that's my guess. But we're in Vermont Park. This is where they were first spotted. And I mean, it is really beautiful out here. So there's a lot to graze on. You know, a lot for them to eat, and there's nature out here. But the thing is, people said you could probably see Eddie, if you could, there's a dog over there. And I guess they're really, really scared of dogs. So they were quickly kind of out of this area because of the other animals that are over here. But I'm told they're staying close to the lakefront. So maybe someone will spot them and we'll have a good ending to this sheep saga.
Yeah.
And not a bad one.
Oh, actually, puns are my love language, and you're just giving me so many good ones right now. I have a feeling that our viewers are definitely going to want to tune in for the full story. So when can we catch that here on Fox Local?
We'll have that tonight at 5:30 and 6:15. So you'll have to stay tuned, and hopefully, you know, a lot can change between now and then. Maybe we'll find these sheep.
Do you have more time to go out on the search again?
Well, we've got some more things to shoot. Yes, we've got a little bit of time here.
Okay.
About 30 minutes. We'll see what we could do.
Ashley's got 30 more minutes to try and find these sheep. Because honestly, Ashley, I think that'd be the best ending to your story, to say, hey, I found them. So we'll cross our fingers for you.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be amazing. All right. Thanks so much for joining us, Ashley, on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Such a truly just wild story out of Mequon. Some sheep on the loose. I think it's even crazier that no one really knows where they came from. Just 3 sheep that we can't quite track down the original owners, but they're on the loose. Now the one's rogue, so we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully they can get a new farm to go to. They can be found. Keep the dogs away from them is what Ashley was saying. They're a little bit too timid for those scary dogs. I'm just joking because that dog was so small, but I get it. They were spooked by the dogs there. All right, hey, we're going to take another break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and then it's time to put your bike helmets on and get ready to pedal for a good cause. Well, put your bike helmet and a Santa Claus hat on. That's the tease I'll give you. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk as we inch towards 1:30, which means I've got a whole other hour with you right here on the Live Desk. And then Sam Kramer's taking over at 2:30 to get you to 3:30 this Friday afternoon, where it is, and I know I've been saying it all day, but I feel like we really have to cherish this moment of 60-degree weather here in November. It's beautiful outside, and if you're looking for something to do, perhaps go for a bike ride. If you can't schedule it in today, you're going to want to schedule it in on December 6th. I'm so excited to chat with Jake Newborn here with Wisconsin Bike Fed. All right, Jake, you got to tell me all about the Santa Cycle Rampage.
Yeah, it's the world's largest holiday-themed costume bike ride for charity. It started almost 25 years ago, just a couple people kind of thinking it's a fun ride in Santa suits, and now it's really grown to be a huge phenomenon.
Yeah, we have some video of it, which I'm going to pull up because it really is a huge phenomenon. And you got to kind of dress up. I'm seeing a lot of Santas. What are some of the other outfits you like to see for this bike ride?
Yeah, dressing up is basically mandatory, but don't have to be Santa. We got Grinches, we've got dreidels, we've got various movie characters, Elf, anything like that. So whatever you got at home, toss it together and come on out and ride.
Yeah, I would imagine that this has to have become a holiday tradition for some people and some families. What does it mean for you to get to kind of play that role now in their holiday season?
It's totally a tradition. We have people who have been doing it for years, or they just started it last year and now they're coming it back. It really, makes my heart grow 3 sizes when I hear that people are making it a part of their family tradition. And it's always the first Saturday of December, so you can plan on it every year. And then in Madison, if you're in that area, it's the second Saturday, December 13th this year. So you got 2 chances across the state to come ride with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're dressed as Santa, so I wouldn't say that you're the Grinch, but I do love that your heart is growing a couple of sizes here. I'm going to be honest. I was very excited for this bike ride. Then I heard 13 miles. That sounds a little daunting to me. Do we think anyone can do it?
Lots of people do it, but the great thing about this ride is it kind of build your own. So if you want to start at the beginning, go about 6 miles and end up at Cafe Hollander on Downer, or you want to go from a Cafe Hollander and meet us there, and then maybe just go to Lakefront Brewery, which is kind of along the route too. You can really kind of hop on or off the ride depending on your skill level, your ability, the weather that day, all sorts of things. So it does kind of parade around the city and not stop for that 13 miles, but plenty of places to hop on or off and warm up.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a choose your own adventure of a route. And if you want to do all 13, you certainly can. But also you're supporting a great cause by doing this ride. Tell me more about that.
100%. This ride is put on and organized by us at the Wisconsin Bicycle Federation. We're a statewide nonprofit cycling, education, and advocacy group. And all the registrations from this ride go to support our youth and families serving education programs. We're getting kids on bikes. We're giving away bikes. We're fixing bikes for free in the community all year round. All these registrations go to support our nonprofit mission.
Yeah, for you, I mean, what do you think are some of the benefits of riding a bike?
Oh, I mean, there's social aspects, there's meeting friends, there's health aspects. Even riding an electric bike is still getting your body active and moving. It's good for our environment. It's good for, we would have to do a whole half-hour segment. It's super fun and enjoyable, especially on Santa Rampage Day. I'd say just give it a try even if you haven't been on in a while. Re-experience that kind of that joy and happiness that can come from riding.
Yeah, I mean, the saying is it's just like riding a bike for a reason. So even if it's been a minute, hopefully we'll be fine for this Santa Rampage ride. Tell me about deadlines. What do I need to know for registration?
Sure. So we prefer that people register ahead of time. It helps us have all the packages, all the mailings all set. But you can do day of on the 6th, but the lines might be long that morning. So we definitely, November 17th is the last day for a mailed. We can mail your packet to you. But after that, you can order it and come pick it up. The night before the Rampage on December 5th, here at Wheel and Sprocket at our Bike Fit office, we are having a kind of pre-packet pickup party where you can decorate your bike, you can hang out, you can do a little shopping here and get that stuff. So the 17th mailing, the 6th day of registration. And I just want to show real quick the things you get with registration. We have a
Yes.
wonderful medal, just like you'd get in a hot chocolate 5K or something. So this can be doubled as an ornament if you take the longer string off. This will also, when you wear this on the ride, make you eligible for getting discounts at restaurants and things along the way that are participating places. And you get a sticker, and you get this cool little matchbook. I don't know if this might be too shiny to appear on the news here, but and then again, a bunch of coupons and things from local businesses that are sponsors.
Okay, well, Jake, I'm really excited because I've already signed up to do this ride with some of my coworkers, and I didn't know I was going to get all these goodies, so that just made me very excited. But for maybe our viewers, if they're like me and they're doing this for the first time ever, what do you hope they take away from the ride?
You know, we started this as a way to kind of get people to realize like you can cycle in the winter, and we also want to show that bikes support businesses. So enjoy, get out, experience, ride as little or as much as you want, meet a new friend. Everyone's very super friendly, and like I said, if you can't do the whole route, doing a part of it is great. But it's it's a sight to be seen. So even if you're not really up for riding, if you want to just stand along and wave along the route, we're happy to do that. People do toss out candy canes and gifts to the kids and stuff like that. So it's quite the sight to be seen.
Yeah, you're rocking your Santa Claus outfit right now. So do you have any tips for people when they're going to work to put their outfits together, maybe to make sure that they're warm enough or that they're still mobile enough to ride a bike? Any kind of pro tips you can share?
Yeah, if you love, a lot of people love to decorate their bikes, put strings and reefs or things like that. Please secure it tightly, zip ties, tape, whatever. Obviously, things falling off or loose things can get caught in wheels. So secure that real tight. And then, yeah, for outfits, I mean, I'm sweating right now inside. These polyester Santa suits are pretty warm, but definitely, keep an eye on the weather. Have layers ready underneath so that you can adjust. Have gloves, a balaclava hat, things like that to kind of cover your face. And, again, layers, kind of be ready to adjust on the fly.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of good advice there. I would imagine maybe also bring some patience. I would imagine it's maybe a slow start, but then you'll get up to speed.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough getting about 2,000 people all to kind of start moving, but once it does get going, the ride travels about 8 to 10 miles an hour, so it's not very fast. It's very doable. It's not a race by any means. We even have a couple spots along the route where we kind of stop and group up and mass up just so we're we're safer together and in a group. And it will be police led, so there will be police at kind of the major intersections, making sure that we keep the group together. We keep cars from crossing into the group. So very safe ride, super fun, riding with people.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it looks like a blast. As soon as our digital manager, Carrie, told me about it, I said, sign me up. So I'm in. I can't wait to experience it for the first time. Again, when's the deadline for mail-in packets?
For getting your registration packet mailed to you, the deadline is Monday the 17th at, end of the day. So on Tuesday, we'll be running that list and starting to ship those out.
All right, awesome. So yeah, if you want them to send you your packet, just register by Monday. Otherwise, we can still register up until race day.
Yep.
It's a plan. Thanks so much for joining us, Jake. We'll have you back in a couple of weeks here on the live desk.
Great. Thanks so much. Happy to be here.
Have a great weekend. I love the Santa outfit. Looking so good there, Jake. All right, that's the kind of everything we need to know about the Santa Cycle Rampage. Like I said, some of us here at Fox 6, we've already signed up. We're so excited to do it. Oh, good. Delaney has her headset on because I'm going to show you, Delaney, because these are two of the people who I have recruited to do the Santa race with. Let's see. Trisha's gonna do it, Delaney's gonna do it, and we're gonna dress up as reindeer, we decided, right?
Yeah, we think we're gonna do reindeer.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna get some, I think, reindeer onesies, maybe some extra antlers, and bike helmets, because we want to be safe.
For sure.
And then Carrie's gonna do it with us, and he's gonna be Santa.
Yes.
Yes. All right. We are so excited for our it's our first Santa Cycle Rampage. Carrie's an expert. He's done it many, many years. So we can't wait to all do that again. Race day, December 6th. It's a Saturday. And if you want them to send you your packet, just make sure and register by Monday. All right. We are going to take a little break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. And then we're going to go from Christmas to Summerfest. We've got some breaking news about a new Summerfest artist coming to Milwaukee. Stay tuned. We'll tell you who in 2 minutes.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. We are just cruising along this Friday afternoon. I hope you have some exciting weekend plans. As I said, Delaney and I think are going to go to a Bucks game. We're also talking about potentially going to a Milwaukee Admirals game, but at some point I'd also like to catch up on sleep. That's what I really like to do on the weekend. So we'll see what we do. Maybe your weekend plans involve a bit of travel. So let's take a live look here at Mitchell International Airport in Milwaukee. Our very own Jason Calvi actually joined us live from Mitchell International Airport yesterday on the Wisconsin Live Desk. And he pointed out some of the cancellations. And I want to say they're pretty much the same today. Most flights are taking off on time. I do see one flight that was canceled that was going to go to Chicago. I see another one that was canceled that was supposed to go to Newark. It actually looks like those might be the only 2 cancellations today, which if that's the case, that is huge. That's so much better than yesterday. And of course, both Chicago, O'Hare, and Newark are 2 of those 40 major U.S. airports that were told they needed to cut back on traffic. So some good news with the government back open. It sounds like by next week they really expect kind of air travel to resume normal operations. So if you were somebody watching a few days ago, potentially when we were talking to Chelsea Torres out of Atlanta's airport, I know we were really nervous about Thanksgiving travel, but cross your fingers because it's sounding like from all the experts, everything should be just fine by the time Thanksgiving rolls around. If you need to take to the skies to visit any loved ones, or maybe you're hitting the road instead. We should talk breaking news. We're going to talk Summerfest. We have been talking about all of the artists that have been announced so far. Let's see, we've got Ed Sheeran, we have Russell Dickerson, Louis Tomlinson, Post Malone, and I always forget the country artist because I'm not a country fan. I'm so sorry, I'm always the worst. I'll look into that one. But Justin, this is pretty exciting if you like, I'd say pop music. We're going to get Alex Warren. He is coming to Summerfest. Although he's calling the show Little Orphan Alex Live. But he'll be performing at Summerfest Friday, July 3rd. So if you are a huge Alex Warren fan, now is the time to sign up for early access. You can get those tickets. Usually you get a couple of days notice before they start doing those early access sales. But Alex Warren, I feel like, has a couple of really popular songs, especially on like TikTok. I definitely have heard Ordinary so many times. And then I was looking at the other one that I love. It's called Burning Down. And he actually did a collab on that one with Joe Jonas. So, of course, that's why I really like Alex Warren, because we love the Jonas Brothers. I love the Jonas Brothers. That's always, I would say, my favorite artist. I joke because I always ask Delaney, what would we like to see announced for Summerfest? She always goes Sabrina Carpenter. I always go Jonas Brothers. I would bring Delaney in right now, but she is chit-chatting with Trisha. There's a little bit of shenanigans behind the scenes, but Alex Warren is a great artist, and I love that he's coming to Milwaukee. Okay, I'm going to look up while we're here the country artist, because I don't know why. Garth Brooks. I don't know why Garth Brooks always leaves my mind whenever I'm doing a Summerfest segment, but just to go through what we know so far. Garth Brooks will be playing the 16th and the 17th. Ed Sheeran is slated for June 25th. Post Malone, June 27th. And then Carter Faith, June 27th. Alex Warren, July 3rd. And then the festival stage headliners, Louis Tomlinson, June 26th. Russell Dickerson, June 27th. Our producer is back in action. She was taking off her headset for a minute, talking to Trisha. What are our thoughts on Alex Warren?
I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Do you know his songs? His music?
I know like one or two songs.
I think
it'll be fun. I think I probably know a few more.
Yes.
I just don't know that they're by Alex Warren.
I was going to say the same thing, because I know Ordinary. Like, that's what I think of when I think of Alex Warren. But I know Burning Down. But now I'm like, oh, Carry You Home. I know that song, too.
Oh, yeah.
So he's got a lot of hits.
Yeah, he definitely has a lot of hits.
Do you know what I think of when I hope you know this, when I think of Alex Warren? There was a trend on TikTok this summer where a bride was like, or maybe it was somebody who was like, if I were to get married, this is the song that I would want my bridesmaids to walk down the aisle to. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was Ordinary, but she was so funny because she was like, bridesmaid 1, bridesmaid 2. But basically the pace that she was having these bridesmaids walk down, and it was all imaginary, they would have to sprint down the aisle. Like, it was such a funny idea. So then it just became this trend of people recreating in real life, like what that would look like coming down an aisle. And Alex Warren had a field day with it. He was in on the joke. It was so good.
I love that he was in on it.
Yes. I love whenever celebrities are in on any sort of a joke. The newest one that I'm obsessed with obviously has to do with the Jonas Brothers. But there was a picture that went viral from one of their most recent concerts where a woman was reviewing somebody's resume in their seat.
Oh, I saw that one.
You saw this? I think that they've met the guy now whose resume it was. But they all were like, we're his reference. He's a great guy. Definitely hire him. Like, they're always in on the jokes.
I love when they get in on the joke like that.
Or when they make fun of themselves. Like Joe recently.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
I don't think so.
Joe, so they were promoting their Christmas movie, which actually came out today. I need to go watch it. I'm so excited. And he was sleep deprived, like doing press for it. And so he's like, it's coming out on Disney Plus, like on November 14th. And he goes, go watch it. Then he goes, bing, bing, bong, for no reason. And Nick's face is like, and so obviously that went viral. And now they're making fun of bing, bing, bong.
But I'm glad he can laugh at himself.
Oh. Joe will always laugh at it. Will Nick laugh at it? Nick is very serious. So it's always like, do you find it funny or do you not find that funny?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Kevin finds them both hilarious. Like, yeah. Kevin thinks Nick's reaction. It's a really good clip. You should look it up.
I'll have to look into it.
I was going to say, I'm seeing the Jonas Brothers again next month. And when I saw them here in Milwaukee, I just made a shirt that said red dress to play off of Burnin' Up, where they say red dress. I think I might make a shirt that says bing, bing, bong. Because if you get the reference, I think it's so funny. What do we think? Do it or don't do it?
I like it. I think it's funny.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so Alex Warren, does this change? We were talking about our favorite artist, the one that we would want to see the most at Summerfest. You said Post Malone. Does this change it, or are we still thinking Post Malone?
I'm still thinking Post Malone. I would see Alex Warren, though. I do think he would be fun to see.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone at Summerfest
That's the
is
issue,
always
is
fun.
like,
It's
I
want to go to everybody.
Yeah, I need every day off.
Right?
I need June 18th through 20th, 25th through 27th, and July 2nd through the 4th off. I'll put that in now because I need to see, all
I
of
want to
them.
see everybody. They have
I'm-
such a great mix.
I'm still really excited for Russell Dickerson. I hope people don't sleep on Russell because I'm telling you, his songs are so good, so catchy.
I still have to listen to him, but I'm sure it's one of those things I'll be like, oh, I've heard this song.
Was anybody watching yesterday when Delaney said she was going to go home and listen? Just want to make sure we're all...
I know.
Actually, I think you said you were going to listen to Sadie Hawkins dance.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Russell
No, I did
Dickerson.
not listen to Sadie Hawkins dance.
Sadie Hawkins dance in my khaki pants. I hope they come. Reliant K, I hope they're at Summerfest. I hope they're still together. The song came out, I don't know anything about them. I'll do some research.
It came out a long time ago, I
Yeah.
thought.
It came out in 2001.
Yeah, that's a while ago.
Yeah, I'm not denying it. Okay, let's take a look at the feeds during a break, see where else we can go here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Of course, coming up at 2, though, we're talking Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Have you ever seen that show?
I have, and I was also in the play in middle school, or the musical in middle school.
Delaney knows. This is my pet peeve when people call musicals plays. Plays don't have songs in them, so if it has a song, it's a musical. You caught it. What part were you in Joseph?
I was just in the ensemble. It was like the high school play, and then they invited the middle schoolers in.
Oh, that's so cute. Also, don't say just in the ensemble. You need an ensemble to have a good show.
That's true.
You were needed. I have actually never seen the show.
Really?
I know. Of
It's
course.
a fun one. And then my high school did it.
Did you do
when
it
I
again?
was there. I didn't
You weren't.
actually participate.
You
but
hung up your theater
I had
days?
a bunch of friends in it. So
Love
we went to
this.
go see it as a friend group, which was fun.
Okay, this is really exciting. Yeah, it's opening day at Skylight, so we will chat with them, get all the details you guys need to know. But for now, we'll take a break. So, Delaney?
We'll be back after this short break.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. It's Haley with you this Friday afternoon as we get close to 2 o'clock, which is so exciting. It's almost the weekend for me. I hope you guys have some fun weekend plans. I did want to go ahead and remind you, of course, about FOX6 Coats for Kids. We are in the middle of our 41st year doing this coat drive. It is so important because, of course, kids, they are growing every single winter, meaning there's always a need for them to have a nice, warm winter coat. We did our kind of Steinhoffel's drive-through collection earlier this week, and we know so many of you came out and showed up for our community donating those winter coats. We thank you so much. So if you have winter coats that you would like to donate, just as a reminder, we ask that they are either new or they can be gently loved. Just make sure that zipper still works, that there's no holes in the pockets, that there's no noticeable stains or rips. I always just like to say, if you're going to donate a coat, make sure it's something you would want your kid to wear. And if you think yes, go ahead and bring it in, give it to a child in need. We're also collecting brand new winter gloves, winter hats, of course those scarves, because Wisconsin winters, they get pretty cold. Or if you're like me, and you don't have any kind of extra coats lying around that you can donate, you can still help by scanning that QR code right there on your screen to make a monetary donation. As a reminder, for $25, you can buy one coat, which is a steal because that coat, its retail value is $61. We're so grateful to work with our partner, Operation Warm, who gives us that really great deal. And I just wanted to check, we are at $8,638 raised by 96 donors. So thank you all so much who have already showed up for your community in such a huge way. I know I was talking with the Salvation Army earlier, and they said the demand is really high this year. They've already done a couple of those distribution events, already giving out more than 1,000 coats. So your neighbors need it, and I am so grateful that you have showed up for them and have helped them out as we get those winter coats, which, speaking of coats, I feel like is the best transition to our next story. We got to talk Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dream Coat. It is opening night at Skylight Music Theater. We're joined with Mason, who plays Joseph. First of all, thanks so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay, so if somebody has maybe never seen Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat before, tell us a little bit about the show.
Oh boy. Okay. I would start off by saying it's just a load of fun. It's the music is very exciting. It's a big cast, so there's lots of energy on stage. It's perfect for the holidays. It's a heartwarming story, and our specific production has so many big personalities that it's a very exciting time. So would highly recommend coming and checking it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So as an actor, when you got the news that you had gotten the role of Joseph, what were the emotions, the feelings like?
Extreme excitement is the first thing that comes to mind for me. This is probably the biggest role I've gotten to play in my life so far. So it's seriously a dream come true, and I am very excited to open the show tonight with this lovely group of people.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so tell us a little bit about Joseph, the character, and the journey he's about to go on.
Totally. So Joseph is the son of Jacob. It's the story from the Bible. And he receives this beautiful colored coat from his father, Jacob, because he is Jacob's favorite son. And his brothers are not a huge fan of that. They get very jealous. He has 11 brothers. And they get so frustrated with him that they sell him and send him off to Egypt because they're jealous and they want their father to love them as much as they love Joseph. So Joseph gets sent away. He ends up being a servant to Potiphar, who is a captain in Egypt, and then he starts to interpret people's dreams. And the Pharaoh finds out about it, and the Pharaoh has some crazy dreams, and then Joseph interprets those dreams, and he ends up going from sort of rags to riches. He helps the Pharaoh and then ends up being the Pharaoh's right-hand man and helps Egypt through a famine. and gets reunited with his family, and it's a story about forgiveness and family and faith.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mason, do you have any brothers in real life that you drew inspiration from? Because 11 brothers is quite a bit.
Absolutely. Thankfully, I have a very good relationship with my siblings. I have one younger brother and a younger sister and an older sister. But, that family connection, bringing that into the show is very powerful for me because throughout childhood and life in general, you're always going to have struggles with family. But just like Joseph in the end, it's always good to forgive and forget and feel that strong family bond.
Yeah, absolutely. For audience members that are about to come out and see the show, I feel like especially when you talk about an amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, I imagine the costumes are going to be pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, I am very excited about the costumes. Skylight Music Theater actually just posted a little bit ago, a little photo of me wearing the coat with some of the other cast members. But very flashy. The set and the design, everything is so beautiful. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite moment that you're just really excited for audiences to finally get to see?
I would say my favorite moment in the show is Joseph's coat. It's like the second or third number in the show, and it kind of gives that exposition of Joseph receiving the coat and his brothers becoming jealous, and kind of just sets up the rest of the story. So it's a very fun song. It's one of the first really big production numbers, so it gets you really excited for the rest of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I always like to kind of peel back the curtain a little bit on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Can you give us maybe just like the inside scoop on how much work goes into a production like this?
Absolutely. So this production, I don't know. I haven't done a lot of like professional shows yet, but one of the things I think I was most surprised and impressed by is the time crunch. We were on a bit of a time crunch. We started rehearsals in like mid-October, I want to say. So we've only had like a few weeks of rehearsal,
Yeah.
and it goes by so fast because we rehearse 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, and it's a very, again, intense period of time, but it's so amazing to see everyone really show up to those rehearsals because, we sort of have to. We don't have a ton of time to put it all on its feet, and we want everything to be in as good shape as possible when we reach Tech Week, which is the period of time where all of like the set and the design elements come in on top of the rehearsal that the actors have been doing, like the blocking and the singing, all of that. And yeah, it's so cool to be a part of that process and see the professionalism of my peers and all the designers and all the moving parts.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a full-time job to do theater professionally. A lot of work goes into it. Okay, I don't know if you'll have an answer for this, but I'm curious. This show runs through December 28th. So what do you think about Joseph makes it a good holiday show?
There are so many things. I've described it before, I think, as like a jamboree. I don't know. It is truly a blast of a show. The music is fun. It's upbeat for the most part. There's some ebb and flow to that, but overall, it's a fun watch. The energy that the actors bring to the stage is going to be a great energizer for the holidays. And we also have a core of, I believe, 14 young performers who, children in the holidays, the energy that they bring, I feel like is so important and magical. So just another little treat to add to your holiday season.
Yeah, absolutely. I always just think there's something so important about a message of forgiveness, which you certainly get in this show. Okay, so for you, why did you want to make a career out of acting and out of doing theater? What about this kind of medium really touches your heart?
There's a few different things. I think first and foremost, I love storytelling. I love being able to portray a character and like entertain an audience and give them a unique experience. Because in my opinion, there's nothing like live theater. You can watch film, you can watch TV, and that stuff is entertaining as well. But there's nothing like the energy exchange that you get in a theatrical performance. I don't know. it is sort of magical to me. And I think the people that choose to do it are special, and I like to surround myself with those kinds of people. So it's a pleasure to get to work with those people and to give that experience to audiences.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like casts get close very quickly, so it's always a nice relationship to form there. And if somebody has never been out to Skylight, what a gorgeous theater is that?
The Cabot is truly stunning. The atrium and the mosaic on the ceiling, yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, they're definitely in for a treat again. I mean, do you feel ready for opening night?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, good.
Definitely. I think we all are.
Good. That's always the good way to kind of go into opening night and opening weekend. Anything else you wanted to say about Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat?
I think the last thing I would say is, again, very excited. I hope everyone is excited to come see the show. It is selling out very fast. You can get your tickets at www.skylightmusictheater.com.
All right, we'll have to go do that because we're not going to want to miss this one. Mason, thanks so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
And break a leg tonight.
Thank you very much.
So fun to talk a little Fine Arts Friday. Of course, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat opens tonight, runs through December 28th at the Skylight Music Theater. And as Mason just said, tickets are selling fast. So if you want to go and get those tickets today, even if you're not going to see it for a couple of weeks, because it's a pretty long run, which is how you know it's going to be a pretty good show. All right, we're going to take another quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll monitor the feeds and see what we can bring you. So stick with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
The Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. In just a little bit, we're going to get to talk to our very own Jason Calvi, who is working on a story kind of with the latest on ice and Milwaukee and what some protests are that are being planned and some plans for a new building. So he'll give us that entire inside scoop. We showed you earlier this feed out of California, which is all about the Eaton Fire kind of recovery efforts out of this collaborative center, which now some leaders are taking some questions and giving some answers. So we will listen in here just a little bit as we learn more about the Eaton Fire recovery efforts.
And apparently are doing an even better job than the actual businesses that are doing it. They tell me that they have 5 workers to rehab a home, whereas the regular businesses have only 2. So yes, very thorough job here. That's very, very impressive. But there is a big job ahead. I learned that there are 2,500 homes that have put their applications in, but there are 3,500 homes that are still deciding what to do. And that it is probably because they are underinsured, they still don't have the finances together, and that's what we need to help with in Washington, D.C. So I am pushing as hard as I can, as I know Senator Schiff is, for the $34 billion in disaster recovery monies that should be provided to us, especially for the CDBG disaster relief program. And we have to make sure that everybody can get the help that they need, and that they need to get this money with no strings attached, because wildfires have no political affiliation. So thank you again, Senator Schiff, for doing this. It was very illuminating.
Thank you. Any of the other leadership like to make a few comments?
Christy? All right. I think we'll take some questions.
Yeah.
Are we good with that?
Yes.
Senator Schiff, where are the discussions at for that relief money? I know that California had asked for $40 billion. Of course, a lot of back and forth. Washington not very happy. But what are those conversations looking like?
We continue to push for disaster funding and really encourage this to be a bipartisan process. It has always been bipartisan throughout my tenure in Congress. Whenever disaster struck, whether it was Hurricane Sandy or hurricanes in Florida or the devastating storms of Katrina, I never asked whether this was a red state or blue state, and we need to continue that tradition. Generally, the way the process works is the administration will request of Congress supplemental funding for disaster relief. We have not received that. Now, there is money, disaster money, still available because it has gone out more slowly than in the past. So there are resources for California and other states. We need to make sure those resources go out and go out in a timely way. So we're working on it, but as you know, it's a very difficult environment in Congress where the appropriation process has not been working the way it has in the past. But this is a daily, weekly focus for us to push through this funding.
You mentioned daily, weekly. Is there a timeline that people can kind of keep an eye out for with the relief funds?
Well, Judy and I feel a real sense of urgency about this. I know Senator Padilla does as well. The challenge is the funding process for the government has never looked like this. And, you know, there is candidly difficulties to overcome in terms of how the administration views certain states and certain cities. And we have to try to, you know, bridge those difficulties. But if there's any area where we should be able to bridge the partisan divide, it's over disaster recovery and relief. So I'm still hopeful, but I will believe it when the dollars come through.
You heard from some survivors today who are now doing the work to help other survivors, many of them living in ADUs, many of them can't afford to even rebuild an ADU, and premiums are still going up. Anything that you guys can do, like tangible efforts to make sure that insurance is affordable for people?
Yes, I mean, this has been a priority of mine well before these fires. I have reintroduced legislation I introduced previously called the Insure Act, which would set up a federal reinsurance facility. Part of the reason insurance companies are claiming that their rates are going up is that the cost to them of reinsuring to protect themselves has gone up dramatically. We saw this after the 9/11 attacks. Insurance companies had difficulty reinsuring because of the terrorism risks. So we set up a federal facility to provide a backstop. I'm trying to do the same thing through legislation when there are major natural disasters like we're experiencing here. So that act would provide relief. I've also introduced bipartisan legislation called the Firewall Act to provide federal tax credits to families that are rebuilding and want to use more fire-resistant materials, but those materials may be more expensive. So it was a way of offsetting those costs, as well as efforts legislatively to provide mortgage relief for victims of natural disasters. So I'm working on some very concrete ideas. I know Judy is as well. Judy, you want to share some of your work?
Yeah, the mortgage relief bill is one that would provide for a time period where you don't have to pay your mortgage for 6 months and it could be renewed for another 6 months. And I have a tax relief bill that actually was signed into law, which says that if the state has declared a natural disaster, then there will be automatic relief on the federal level. And I mean, those are just some of the bills that I have, but another one that is very, very important is the one to provide relief from any taxation of settlement monies. Mm-hmm. And so that one is coming forth right now as we see the Southern California Edison settlement offer come through.
Talking about that Edison settlement, a lot of people are asking Edison now to pay about $200.
All right, we have been listening in, kind of hearing the latest on recovery efforts out of California for the Eaton fire. That was one that kind of went around the same times as the Palisades fire back in January. This fire did kill at least 19 people and, of course, destroyed more than 9,000 buildings. So you heard some of the officials there talking about mortgages and homes and all of those for the victims of this natural disaster. Of course, here in Milwaukee, didn't deal with a fire in August, but we certainly dealt with flooding. So we know all about those recovery efforts and the process to try and get some aid via FEMA, which, as a reminder, the deadline to apply for that was 2 days ago. So we're continuing to kind of follow those applications and see if people get the help that they needed from all of that flooding damage. And speaking of Milwaukee, another big kind of topic really around the country has been U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, and these officers going into different cities. We've really seen some protests out of Chicago as they do Operation Midway Blitz there. It's actually the story that our very own Jason Calvi has been working on today. It has to do with ICE and kind of the impacts here in Milwaukee. We're going to go ahead and bring Jason in. And Jason, there's some plans for ICE here in Milwaukee. Tell us the latest.
So back in January, we reported how we got our hands on some documentation showing that ICE had some plans to use some office space on the northwest side of Milwaukee. And at that time, the alderwoman of that area, Alderwoman Taylor, had come out and put out a press release saying that it was going to be used potentially for as a immigrant detention facility. And at that time, ICE said that was not happening. It was not going to be used for detention. And we've been really looking into the records to find out what that facility would be used for, and we're going to be bringing some of those documents we got our hands on to our audience tonight right here on Fox Local. That'll be on at 4 and 5 tonight, so hope people can join us for that. We got some really interesting information out of those documents.
Yeah, we know that really conversations around ICE around the country have sparked reaction, and here in Milwaukee, what do we know about protests that have been planned?
Right, we've seen those protests in Chicago at the immigrant, one of the sites that they have there in the Chicago area, and we know that there's going to be some protests this weekend. And I know, talking to the organizers of the protest, they don't want to necessarily get out on our channels the time of the protest because they're afraid maybe counter-protesters will show up. But I can say that there will be some protests at this future site for ICE that'll be held this weekend in Milwaukee.
Yeah, as you've been gathering, news information today, what has really stood out to you so far about this story and the latest development? I do feel like it's a huge topic right now in the country.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a little tight-lipped because I want to save the breaking news for my scoop this afternoon at 4 and 5. But we can say that the plans are moving ahead. Construction right now is underway for this new facility, and the documents we got our hands on do reveal, indeed, the ICE will be utilizing this office space on the northwest side. So right now in Milwaukee, there's a immigration site for the federal government, and it's on MSOE's campus, actually. And the Milwaukee School of Engineering has a building there that right now federal officials, federal immigration officers are using right now, and that's a facility that MSOE would like to use in the future for other purposes. So right now we've known for the last year that, or at least this year of 2025, that ICE has been looking at some other properties in Milwaukee, and indeed there's a spot on the northwest side that has been considered for the federal government since as early, according to the documents we got our hands on, since 2023. And so now we know through the newest documentation that we got that this process is moving ahead. Construction is underway right now as we speak. As far as when ICE is going to move out of the MSOE location and then into this new site on the northwest side, that's still an open question. We're not getting a lot of answers from the federal government on this, but the records really are revealing about what the next steps are for that site.
Yeah, you've definitely done a lot of digging already, Jason, for this story, and clearly it's been in the works for several years. You mentioned 2023 there. Going back to the protest question, did you speak at all to Milwaukee police if they have plans to go out and to, make sure that those stay in order, anything like that?
I know that the protests right now are going to be just speaking out against ICE. So that the facility that they're going to be protesting at over the weekend right now is just a construction site. It's been an empty office space on the northwest side of the city. It's been vacant for a number of years, and so that's where that protest is going to be taking place. It's not right now being used for law enforcement, not right now being used by ICE. Right now it's just a construction site. It does have a security fence around it right now, around that construction site as they continue to transform what was an office space into an ICE facility.
I know you wanted to say tight-lipped so that you can keep kind of the breaking news for your story later today. So is there anything else you did want to share right now on the Wisconsin Live Desk before I let you go?
Well, let's check in and see if we've got any updates from the various federal entities we've been trying to get answers to. As far as when is ICE going to vacate the property that's owned by MSOE, that's still an open question. MSOE just got back to me and says the federal government has not given any information to the school on when they plan to vacate, but they do have a lease there. They're utilizing that space for immigration check-ins and things like that. So, when you're going through the immigration process, you have to check in at an immigration facility. There is one of those in Milwaukee on Knapp Street, but in the future, that's going to go back to MSOE, and they're going to run it for some of the projects they have in store for the future. And so that's why we're seeing ICE looking at this new facility on the northwest side of the city.
And Jason, because we are going to tune into your story later today on Fox Local for that breaking news from you, when can we catch it? What time?
You can catch me at 4 and 5 tonight on Fox Local and on Fox 6.
All right, we will keep our eyes out for your story. Of course, as always, thanks for taking time to keep us updated here on the Live Desk.
Thanks, Haley.
I also actually want to get us out to another kind of breaking news situation that's happening here in Milwaukee. Momentarily, we should, and I apologize, breaking situation. You see our cameras moving a little bit there. Momentarily, we should be hearing from Chief Norman. He is going to provide kind of an update regarding a double shooting incident that happened earlier today on West Cortland Ave. This will be, of course, also near 38th Street, which is where some of that tape is, if you see that in the background. So we're keeping our eye on that here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Of course, as soon as Chief Norman steps up there to the podium, we will bring you that here on the Live Desk so we can kind of learn some more information, and certainly we'll see what we can bring you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Well, Sam Kramer is in the wing, so we're going to go ahead and do our handoff here on the Live Desk. He will keep you covered on that breaking news situation here out of Milwaukee, and he'll get you to 3:30. So thanks for joining me for the last couple of hours. We'll leave this up for you. We'll put the sound on in case we can hear from Chief Norman.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
That is Spectrum.
Spectrum.
Huh?
Spectrum.
Spectrum, right. So hopefully I don't get one from 58 now.
Okay.
Yeah, 58's coming. There? Yeah, they're like right behind me.
Okay. All right. Good.
No. Someone shoots and gets into a school at one time.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3.
5 more minutes at your boss.
I was gonna say, I'm like, we just got here, we're good now.
Whenever you guys are all ready, I can call them over. Your camera person's ready?
Yeah, Colin, are you good?
Yeah.
We'll give you a couple more. Straighten it. Now I feel like he's probably gonna come up forward on it. Where you guys at? Like an angle?
Yeah. The sun.
Oh, okay. Well, he's gonna be in the sun.
Yeah, that's the
point. Yeah. No, Colin won't be reading. All right.
It doesn't feel good, but it looks the best.
This is not on a highway. And no one can hear it.
Oh, like listen to the programming?
Hi everybody, Sam Kramer here checking in as we're coming up on 2:30. You're looking at Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman, some of his command staff as well, as police tell us they are responding to a shooting that has left 2 people injured, including a student at Asada Preparatory School. It's a prep high school in Milwaukee. And he's now talking with Public Information Officer Sergeant Efrain Cornejo. Let's listen in.
Milwaukee police are investigating a double shooting that occurred on Friday, November 14th, 2025 at approximately 11:51 a.m. on the 4600 block of North Hopkins Street. It appears the suspects approached the victim in an attempt to rob the victim when shots were fired. The victim and his suspect were subsequently shot. The victim, an 18-year-old, summoned for assistance at a nearby school and was transported to a hospital for treatment for serious injuries. The victim later succumbed to his injuries. One of the suspects, a 17-year-old, was transported to a hospital for treatment of non-fatal injuries. He was arrested. Milwaukee police continue to seek additional unknown suspects. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Milwaukee Police Department at 414-935-7360 or to remain anonymous and contact Crime Stoppers at 414-224-TIPS or P3-TIPS. So early this morning, I was at the south side of the Boys and Girls Club where there was a dedication of a basketball court for our youth. And I always said this in many spaces that if we don't provide spaces for our kids, safe spaces for our kids, they'll find things on their own to do in our community, and we're not going to like it. While I was at a youth summit attended by our county exec and our mayor and a lot of our community partners, where we're talking about gun violence with youth, this call comes over. This call comes over as we are talking about firearm violence and our youth. This is unacceptable, Milwaukee. This is absolutely unacceptable in regards to that. This is absolutely preventable, totally avoidable, and here we are having the same refrain about youth and gun violence. There is no place for firearms in our youth's hands. None. And we are seeing this situation play over and over again. And so I'm here to say, as many times as I can, we all have a responsibility to do something. We cannot have bystanders in this work. We have men and women in the Milwaukee Police Department tirelessly working to ensure that we are going to make sure that people who are bringing harm to our community is held accountable. But that's not enough. We need to really wake up about what is firearms doing to our community, especially in the hands of young ones. And so, yes, I am having this press conference to elevate and amplify the discussion that we all have a responsibility in this type of work.
The 18-year-old victim, was he or she a student at the school that they ran into?
We're still investigating that right now, but yes, we definitely want to look in that angle because, again, that makes it even worse in regards to that this could be, a student out here in regards to this, avoidable situation.
Is the school still on lockdown at this time?
I believe it's slowly being released for the students out there, but again, this is an ongoing investigation, so I know that there is still a lot of investigations that, a lot of questions that we have with the staff there right now too.
What about the 17-year-old suspect? Was he or she a student at the Asada High School?
Again, we're still looking into it. It's very early in the investigation, but we're looking at every angle.
Chief, can you reiterate kind of the chain of events? The student was walking and then the suspect approached them?
So we said a 18-year-old male who was approaching to the corner there was, again, approached by suspects, which we believe was a robbery. And that one of the individuals involved in that robbery also was shot during the time when our victim who died was shot.
How many suspects approached this teenager?
We're still looking into that.
Was there an exchange of gunfire between the 18-year-old and 17-year-old?
We don't know at this time, but we do understand there was a shot fired, but we don't know the extent of the, how many guns or what the extent of shots being fired at the time.
So we don't necessarily know how the 17-year-old got injured.
At this time, we're still looking into that.
We'll take another question.
It looks like it's a very large footprint we have out here. Can you just expand on that? Why is there such a large footprint?
So we just want to make sure that we have enough room to investigate and check the scene. I know that unfortunately there is a number of items of evidence in that particular area, so we want to make sure that we have enough room to navigate and ensure that we are doing our due diligence. Thank you.
Okay, so Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman there, a little bit animated, talking about this situation, which he says unfolded as he made public appearances today at a number of events that focused on keeping youth out of trouble. And a situation that he just spelled out here, and I'm going to kind of blend some of the information that he just gave us with what Milwaukee Public Schools provided us in his statement within the last 20 minutes. So the chief said around 11:51 this morning, an 18-year-old man was walking near Hopkins and Glendale. That is 1 block south, as I look here on the map, 1 block south of Asada High School. That's 36th and Cortland, so just west of Lincoln Creek. So that 18-year-old was walking when a group of suspects, the chief wouldn't say how many people, which is interesting. But again, a group of suspects approach this 18-year-old man. They attempt to rob him, and suddenly shots are fired. He wouldn't say who fired those shots, but the gunfire struck 2 people, that 18-year-old man and a 17-year-old. The chief, I do not believe, said the gender of the 17-year-old person. And he, again, didn't specify who fired the shots, if this group of suspects was shooting at the 18-year-old to rob him and then this other suspect was hit as part of that, or if the 18-year-old had a gun and also fired back. The 18-year-old, they said, was able to actually get back to Asada High School, Asada and Banner Prep. Now, based on the statement that MPS provided us, they said that around 11:30 this morning, one of the Asada students who had early dismissal today left the school and was shot. The student was able to return to the school. We called 911 and immediately went into lockdown, which means outside and inside doors were locked and lights were turned off. The Milwaukee police urgently responded. They took that student to the hospital, and I believe if the facts match up here, that is the student, the 18-year-old that was shot and killed. So again, Chief Norman did not go into that detail to say this is the student that died, or the person that died. Milwaukee Public Schools are identifying them as students. Again, yeah. So as I got another email here from Milwaukee Police. The victim, an 18-year-old, again, man, summoned for assistance at a nearby school, was taken to the hospital for treatment of serious injuries. That victim later died. That's according to Milwaukee Police. So it was an 18-year-old. So again, if we are blending the facts here based on what Milwaukee Police and Milwaukee Public Schools have provided, the 18-year-old man shot and killed during a robbery was actually attending classes at Asada Banner Prep and had early dismissal that day. The suspect, 17-year-old, they didn't know if that person is a student as well. Not sure if there is a connection between the group of suspects and the victim in this case. But the 17-year-old that was hurt was also arrested and taken to a hospital. Looks like that press conference has ended and the shot has ended as well. And so that 17-year-old suspect was arrested. They didn't say anything about whether they've recovered a gun or guns. Again, they didn't say anything about who fired those shots, just that the 17-year-old suspect, who was part of a group trying to rob that 18-year-old man, was also hit by gunfire and then arrested. And they are seeking additional suspects at this time. They would not say how many, who else. And as I look at this email that they just sent out to our newsroom, Milwaukee police tell us they're seeking additional unknown suspects. So very early in this investigation, and yet the chief revived some talking points that he has shared a number of times when responding to, I guess, what we would call and what they call critical incidents. That is to say incidents when an officer uses force. But this is not one of those incidents. This is strictly a crime that does not involve a police officer. They are only responding to this, again, in the responding capacity. But strong words saying to the community needs to wake up and actually consider and study what firearms are doing to our community. Here, as I look more at what Milwaukee Public Schools sent us. Yeah, they went into a lockdown and they encouraged families to pick their students up at the school, or they can go home as they normally do at the end of the day. So follow-up message, lockdown has been lifted. So the reporters that were gathered for this press conference were asking the chief if the school was still on lockdown, and no, the school has lifted the lockdown again. Asada and Banner Prep has lifted the lockdown. Families looking to pick up their kids can do so on the 35th Street side of the school. Students that are catching buses should walk to Hampton Avenue. Of course, they say students are also welcome to remain in the building, and they'll dismiss as normal at the end of the day. They're calling this a tragic situation that unfolded about just a block or two just south of their school. Again, if you're just joining us, this happened just before noon this morning. A shooting outside of Asada High School, Asada Banner and Prep. That school is at 36th and Cortland. It's just west of Lincoln Creek here on the city's northwest side. And that 18-year-old student was walking near the intersection of Glendale and Hopkins, which is really just a block and a half, if you will, south of Asada High School, when Milwaukee police say a group of suspects tried to rob that 18-year-old man. It escalated into a shooting. That 18-year-old man eventually was able to work his way back north to Asada High School to ask that school for help. They took him to the hospital. We're told that 18-year-old man later died. One of the suspects in this case, a 17-year-old, was also hit by gunfire. Again, Milwaukee police not saying anything about who actually fired the shots. They say it's too early to determine that. But one suspect is in custody, a 17-year-old at this time. We're going to take a quick break right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hello, everybody. Sam Kramer back with you here for hour 3 of the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is Friday, November 14th. In case you are just joining us here at 2:42 on this Friday, we just received some breaking news from Milwaukee Police and Milwaukee Public Schools that an 18-year-old man who was a student at Asada High School, Banner Prep there at 36th and Cortland, died today after he was dismissed early as part of the normal scheduling there at that high school. Just after, or right around 11:50 this morning, Milwaukee police say he was walking a little bit south of that school near Hopkins and Glendale when a group of suspects attempted to rob him. That robbery eventually elevated into a shooting that injured 2 people, with gunfire, I should say, hitting 2 people, including that 18-year-old man. He was killed as part of this shooting. The other person, a 17-year-old who was among that group of suspects, was hurt and arrested. The 18-year-old, in case you missed it, was able to work his way back north to that high school to summon help from some of the staff there. They called 911. Police responded right away. They tried transporting this 18-year-old man to the hospital, but again, unfortunately later passed and died as a result of those injuries. So our Andrew Amuzu is working that story for us on Milwaukee's northwest side, and we will continue to follow that for any sort of developments. Delaney is our producer. Delaney, if you can tell me in our ear, is our next interview good to go? Okay, so we're going to switch gears just a little bit while we perhaps wait for Andrew Amuzu, again, who is working that story. And I want to bring up our next interview because today's an important day in the traffic world. That is, it's National Seatbelt Day. So we've got a guest here from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. First, can you hear me? Can you tell me your name?
Good afternoon. My name is Valerie Payne. I'm the Program and Policy Supervisor within the Department of Transportation and the Division of Safety Patrol.
Well, Valerie, thanks for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. I appreciate you making time for us.
Thank you.
I guess let's just start with first, why is it important that, I feel like we have a day for everything, right? National Donut Day, National Pizza Day, or whatever, but something like seatbelts. Why is it important to have that?
So seatbelts are one of the things that the Wisconsin Department of Transportation and the Wisconsin State Patrol focus on for our safety. We want to ensure because it's one of the safest things and simplest things that we can do to protect ourselves and others on the road. We can do those simple things such as not being distracted as well, but it's important. There's more work to do. We've really tried over the years, and it's a priority for our safety on the roads.
And I can think, we've got an extensive archive system here at FOX6 of having been a station for decades and decades and decades, and have gone back and viewed some of the stories about cruising, if you will, back in the 80s and 90s, and even then, just to see how much the culture has changed around seatbelts. But you're saying there's still room to go. I mean, how much room to go is there? How much of an issue is our passengers that are not wearing seatbelts in Wisconsin?
Definitely. As Wisconsin has made the pivotal accomplishment of reaching 94% of those drivers in the state buckling up, there is the room to grow. We have that 6%. Every percent means something. Every life means something. So when I say every occupant should protect themselves on the road, that includes buckling up. In 2024, we had about 7,648 crashes in Wisconsin, and those motorists were not belted. It resulted in 176 deaths and 2,022 injuries among unbelted occupants. So it really is important for us to really pay attention to those stats, right? And to see the importance. Wisconsin has conducted the seatbelt surveys since 1987, and we have conducted the observational sites in 160 locations throughout Wisconsin. We hold the surveys in the fall and the spring. Usually the Click It and Ticket campaign is around the spring, around Memorial Day. And that pretty much is our law enforcement agencies across the state and the nation reminding drivers and passengers of the value of wearing the seatbelts. Seatbelts are important. We have our education, and it's something that it's easy to do. Once you go into the vehicle, the first thing that you can do is, besides shut the door, is put your seatbelt on. So fewer motorists were buckled up in 2024 compared to the previous year, and we've made strides for that 6% from other increased rates to do better.
You mentioned something there that reminded me of an old memory. As I think of my parents, anytime I would get into the car, they wouldn't actually move the car until they heard the seatbelt click. And perhaps a younger me was thinking, okay, this is kind of annoying. What are we doing? But it really does make a difference. And I think it's so pivotal that you talked about the growth. 94% of Wisconsinites wearing their seatbelts. That's great. But there are still all these crash data that show that, look, there's still room to grow. Obviously, 6% doesn't sound like that much, but it is a lot. When you think about people's lives that are at stake, and Valerie, while we have you, is there any truth to this myth, or perhaps something I've heard is that a lot of people choose not to wear their seatbelts when they're just going down the road, just running to the store back, and it seems like that's just a perfect opportunity to wear your seatbelt and be protected no matter how far that trip is.
Exactly, definitely. We need to work together to make buckling up a habit. Every trip, every time. We're striving to achieve 0 deaths in Wisconsin roads, and the only way we can do that is if we really do, every time, put on our seatbelts and buckle up. While we are driving, we don't want to be distracted, so parents can help model the behaviors and discuss the safe driving behaviors with their families. Passengers can avoid distracted driving, not carrying their phones. So we have a couple of campaigns that we do to focus on those initiatives that make our roads safer.
And I'm curious, do we know of that 6%? Is it an age? Is it a generational thing, or is it people kind of across every spectrum of life, or is it younger people that are trying to be cool, not wearing their seatbelts? Do you have any information on that?
Yes, the number of individuals where that 6% ranges it does span from the 18-year-olds to older, 70. So there is some variances there. However, it just takes one person to not pay attention and not buckle up, and that's why we have the two campaigns: the Buckle Up, Phone Down campaign, which really encourages our drivers to put the phone down behind the wheel and always wear your seatbelt. If you need to use the phone, pull over, take some time somewhere safe. And really, it only takes a split second for something to happen. We also do have rules and regulations for driving in work zones. And so that's a priority for Wisconsin, that we try to decrease the number of distracted driving incidences that cause traffic crashes throughout Wisconsin.
I'm glad you said that, because I was just going to bring that up. As you drive around Milwaukee County particularly, just about every freeway is a work zone right now. And that's just how it is. When you've got federal dollars tied to these projects, you just kind of have to do them all at once. And you kind of spoke to it, but how important is a day like this to shine a light on the seatbelt use when there are as many distractions today as there have ever been for people behind the wheel?
Right, and safety matters, especially on our Wisconsin roads, right? Texting while driving is not only dangerous, but it's also illegal in Wisconsin, so that's good to know. And then also, we do have Wisconsin Act 115, which was signed into law December of 2021, creating additional protections for roadside workers. So we're all in this together. It's illegal to talk on a handheld cell phone while driving through a construction zone. And then it's also against the law for drivers with instructional restrictions unless you're, in an emergency. So we want to spread awareness that every driver can help create safer roads in Wisconsin. We can do that through buckling up and through the Buckle Up Phone Down campaign, every day really taking that pledge. There's a pledge related to that. We can also, communicate with one another, and not be one of those statistics that unfortunately we still have a little bit to go.
A little bit to make a big difference. The last thing I would
Yes.
ask is I don't believe you wear the badge per se, but on a day of National Seatbelt Day, is the State Patrol and the law enforcement agencies that are patrolling the roads, are they looking specifically for drivers and passengers not wearing their seatbelts today, or is it just kind of something that we're going to see if we haven't already on the digital signs above the highways and freeways?
So our law enforcement are on the roads for various reasons, obviously to maintain safety and integrity on our roads. An additional item to notice is if someone is not wearing their seatbelts. It is one of the safety factors, the easiest thing that we can do as an occupant of a vehicle is to put that seatbelt on. And so that's why there are those restrictions and requirements to wear your seatbelt. We're all in this together. It only takes 1 minute to, have an occurrence. And so that's why every driver can help create safer roads in Wisconsin.
All right. She is Valerie Payne, Program and Policy Supervisor for the Bureau of Transportation Safety and Technical Services in Wisconsin Department of Transportation's Division of State Patrol. Does that all fit on a business card?
Yes.
Okay. That's the power of different fonts. Well, Valerie, thanks so much for joining us on this Friday. I hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you, you too.
All right, absolutely. Just an important message there, and I think the statistics speak to it as well, that 94%, as I read some of the information the Wisconsin Department of Transportation has on this survey, that is the highest rate of seatbelt use that we have ever had in the state of Wisconsin in the 25 years of this survey. Again, seatbelts, they aren't that new per se, just looking back here. Mandatory. They became mandatory in all vehicles in the United States in 1968. Wisconsin became the first state in the union to require seatbelts be installed in the front seats of all new cars starting in 1967. And in 1987, that law passed to make it a requirement that everyone riding in a car buckle up. Again, fast forward to today, 94% of drivers in the state participating in this survey report that they are wearing their seatbelts. But still, 6% in the scheme of 100% doesn't seem like a lot when you consider the number of people in this state and the number of crashes and the number of deaths and injuries for people that were not wearing their seatbelts last year. 176 people killed, 2,022 people injured not wearing their seatbelts. That's still a lot of lives, still a lot of families that are affected by this. So. You may think it may be annoying. You may think, as we said, you're just making that quick trip down to, a Quick Trip or a grocery store or neighborhood bar, what have you. Just buckle up. It takes 2 seconds. Your family will thank you for it, particularly because of what you could be preventing, because you never know who else is out on the road with you. It is Friday, again, November 14th. I want to take a look, if we can, outside real quick as it's just a beautiful day. I got the short sleeves on. It's always a little bit warm in this tight little space we have here for the live desk, but our chief photographer and head of some form of content. The titles are always changing here. Kale Zimney did some great work to make it comfortable in here, but boy, it's the middle of November outside, and as you see on the bug there in the bottom left corner, 57 degrees. I'm not going to lie, I debated, I should say, whether or not I should go out and golf today because it was just a beautiful day. Really, you could not ask for better weather in just middle of November. I mean, come on. So take a look here at our Esterbrook Tower cameras where even the lake looks kind of comfortable, quiet, calm, and considering that really lake effect driven snow we had earlier in the week that just dumped on communities like Racine, Kenosha, Pleasant Prairie. Really didn't see much up here. I know I was like many people waking up saying, well, where is it? And feeling fortunate enough to look on social media at other communities that were digging out, and that certainly wasn't something that we were affected by. So that was encouraging. But boy, what a beautiful day, beautiful start to the weekend. Again, 57 degrees right now on this Friday. Got the dogs out for a walk. Really just taking advantage of it because we know how quickly things can change, right? It is Wisconsin after all. And hey, we do love the four seasons, especially this time of year. And I think as we get closer to Thanksgiving and then really the lead up to Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, you almost want some snow, right? It just kind of adds to the festive feeling of everything there. So certainly our weather experts will be watching that. But again, if you haven't already, get outside for a late afternoon walk. Just enjoy that sunshine, vitamin D, comfortable temperatures before things really change. All right, coming up on 3 o'clock, we're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. And when we return, I'm going to take a look at what else is happening in our area today. We'll be right back.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to hour 3 of the Wisconsin Live Desk. We've just crossed into 3 o'clock, so we got a half hour left here on this Friday, November 14th. So glad you are with us and that you are engaging with us on this platform. And if you do me a favor, drop us a line if you are watching from where you are. My email, sam.kramer, you see the last name right there, at fox.com. Just send us a note. We're just really curious to see who's engaging with us, who's watching this, as we, again, kind of experiment and really just kind of dive into this new tool that we have to talk about live breaking news, talk about what's happening in our area, and also really just kind of feature things as we look into the weekend. And we talked earlier about the fact that, look, we enjoy the seasons, right, as we get approaching here Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. One of the big events that's happening soon here is the debut tonight of Country Christmas at the Ingleside Hotel in Pewaukee. And joining us today to talk about that is Jesse, is it Wilder? It would help if I turned your mic up. Let's try that one more time. It is Wilder.
Yeah. Correct, Jesse Wilder.
Yep. He is the GM for the Ingleside, and Sarah Hine as well. She's the Executive Director of the Christmas Clearing Council. Thank you both for being with us on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So, Jesse, why don't you start us off as far as what year we are in now of Country Christmas and why a hotel decides to spend all this time, effort, money on an awesome Christmas attraction?
We are going on 30 years this year. This is our 30th year. And it's amazing. This just started out as a dream of the previous owners. And we have just taken it and grown it every year. And at the end of the year, it's about being a part of the community. It's about the kids. It's about the families that are becoming multi-generational. We see, the grandkids, the parents and the grandparents all together coming through. And I guess that's what it's about, the community and the feeling. And yeah,
it's a pretty good description. How would you describe the experience for people if they haven't been out? I've been out a couple years since I've moved back here, and just really enjoy the drive through. I mean, if you consider yourself a grouch and you really can't get into the Christmas spirit, if you can't get into the Christmas spirit after experiencing Country Christmas, I don't know. But how would you describe to people what this experience really is and what they would experience themselves?
Well, it kind of depends. It is, I mean, it's hundreds of thousands of lights that we put up in different displays. There's Bearville, there's the park area, there's the trains inside. So it depends on how you see it. This weekend and next weekend are walking nights. We have bike nights coming up where you can ride your bikes through it. And the nice thing is you can go round and round as many times as you want. And then we also have wagon rides you can do. And then, of course, we do a few tens of thousands of cars that go through each year after walking nights are all over with.
And it's so nice for people to experience it the way they want. If they want to walk, they can do that. If they want to bike, they can do that. And
Yep.
if you're like me in the last couple of years, get in the car with your dogs, and your dogs are looking around like, what is happening here?
Yep.
It's really just so cool. Of course, there's the 200-foot tunnel, 30,000 pulsing lights. Am I right? There's more than 1 million lights in this altogether, correct?
It's about, yeah. I haven't taken the time to count, but yeah, it's probably somewhere in there.
Too busy setting it all up. And actually, that's a good segue. Let's talk about that. How long does it take you guys at the Ingleside to devise what this year's going to look like, and then go from planning to execution in terms of setting everything up?
It is, in a lot of ways, it's a year-round process. When we get done, it's kind of funny because the guy who plans all this and devises it all, and his partner Kurt and Nick, he says they always start planning it the day after they finish setting up, and because they put stuff away in different areas differently. They're planning for next year and what new displays they want to bring in and what new ideas they want to try. We sit down as a team, have a big meeting and a planning and what worked well, what can we do better, and also what new displays and activities, experiences we want to bring in. And then after that, it really starts to get set up in September. August, September is when things really start to heat up. The month of October is super busy, and the first 2 weeks of November is just insane for a couple of weeks here, including today.
Crazy fun is really the best
Yeah.
way to describe it.
Yep.
Sarah, let's bring you in because this is really important for the Christmas Clearing Council. Can you tell us what the council is, what it is that you guys do?
Well, thanks. Thanks for having us. The Christmas Clearing Council of Waukesha County has been around now for 77 years, serving families in Waukesha County at Christmas. We aim to really help parents who are struggling financially just to make sure that they can have a couple gifts under the tree for each of their children, and create those magical Christmas memories that we all have and want to share with others. So it's an organization that really has a lot of energy this time of year, that's for sure.
And it's such an important mission to ensure that everybody kind of feels that joy, no matter what the financial status is of your family. I understand that just the connection with Country Christmas has really enabled you guys to do even more in Waukesha County. I'm curious, how did this connection start? Who approached who to say, hey, why don't we partner on this?
The Ingleside Hotel really is a cornerstone of our community. In the Country Christmas has been longstanding, obviously, for 30 years. So it is no wonder that an organization that supports families in Waukesha County for all the fun things, also supports families through Christmas Clearing Council and other organizations. So, I don't actually remember how we came together, in the end, but our 7-year partnership now has just been a true blessing to our organization, and it really it has allowed us to shed a light on who we are and who we serve. And again, that energy of this community is wonderful this time of year. And it's been neat to see the support of the Ingleside, as well as all the people who come out for these now 7 nights this year, 7 walking nights, that really go to support Christmas Clearing Council as well. So you're having a great time with your family, especially this weekend with the gorgeous weather. You can come out, enjoy some outdoor time, and $2 from every ticket sold will come to Christmas Clearing Council. So we've been able to benefit over the last 6 years tremendously, and made over $51,000 to support our programming. So that is huge.
And again, something as simple as going to experience this kind of light, all-inclusive light show. Again, there's like hot cocoa. I remember the train building from a couple years ago. They have something for everybody. And the fact that just a simple partnership can allow families to help other families that aren't perhaps in the same status as they are. Again, what have you noticed about the willingness of people to donate at an event like this, where, again, it is all about kind of feeling good and feeling the joy and warmth and love that come with the holidays?
Absolutely. And I think this is just a really wonderful time for families to spend time with their loved ones. And we always feel good about giving back. It's always such a good feeling and an easy thing to do, to give. And so this time of year, when you can gather your friends and family and do an event like this, and have your children along with you and get some outside fresh air, it really embodies the spirit of what the holidays are all about. And we are just so grateful to be the beneficiary in this circumstance. And we are on site as well. So we get to be right alongside all the supporters and patrons that are visiting. And we have lots of volunteers on site as well. And we have some volunteers this year, as we have in the past, who have been part of our program. So it's just a beautiful thing to see always how we have families that we serve that go ahead and really want to, serve forward, so to speak, and help out the community and help out the organization that helped them. So, so much good. And if you ever want a feel-good event, this certainly is it to kick off the holiday season.
No doubt. And as I'm looking here, last year the CCC helped 4,300 kids for more than 2,000 families. It's an incredible need, right? And I just consider, with everything that's happened this year, prices going up, I have to imagine you guys are perhaps preparing to help even more people. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. And you are 100% correct. We are in the final stretch of accepting client applications, family applications for this season, and numbers have been very strong. It's a blessing we can help them, but it's always sad to see when things are hard for people and they need to apply to programs like ours. But we're so thrilled that we can help this community in this way. We have moved our annual toy shop to WCTC this year, which is perfect timing. We are able to serve more families in this larger space. We're so excited about it. And so there's really good things on the horizon for our organization and how we're able to serve our families. Because you're right, these have been a couple really difficult years for Waukesha County families.
Absolutely. Well, Sarah, Jesse, thank you both so much for making time for us. Again, the Country Christmas opening up with walking nights that start this weekend, next weekend, as well as the evening of November 26th. Thank you both for all that you do, and again, for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. So there you have it. I should point out, Fox 6, a proud sponsor of Country Christmas as well. And if you haven't gone, if you're thinking, oh boy, Pewaukee's a long drive from wherever you live, it's worth it. And I say that not just, again, pointing out the fact that our station is a sponsor of this event, but it just helps to create and kind of provide that spark, that, if you will, for that holiday spirit, that Christmas spirit. So really, it's $10, again, a person to go in these walking nights. You can buy the tickets at thecountrychristmas.com. You can also buy them at the door. And again, if you're doing these walking nights, $2 from every ticket goes to the Christmas Clearing Council, which, as you just heard, is going to help help families that perhaps don't have the money, don't have the income to actually go and provide that sort of experience for children in their families. It helps them do that. It helps provide the joy to people that could certainly use it, especially this time of year. We're going to step away for another quick break. We got a couple, 14, 15 minutes left here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We're going to check on some other things that are happening in our area. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hi everybody, Sam Kramer here, back with you on the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is 3:15 on Friday, November 14th. We're wrapping up the third hour here, again, on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and we have some more breaking news that we are following at this hour. It's in Sheboygan County, where the Emergency Communications Center there says there's been a gas line hit that caused an explosion in the area of Trio Lane in County Road F in Cascade. We've got some maps built. So again, up in Cascade, that is north in Sheboygan County, west of 43, where a gas line was hit. We don't know, where specifically that line was, if it was connected to a home or what sort of building, what have you. But they're seen west of State Highway 28 there. So again, the Sheboygan County Emergency Communications Center says gas line was hit, caused an explosion. They are right now working to evacuate anyone within a 3-mile radius of that scene there. So they're asking people to avoid this area, stay away as they're setting up this evacuation. Also, Plymouth Utilities, which works in that area, tells us that they have turned off power to the area. They will restore power once they receive notification, likely from fire officials from the sheriff's office there, that it is safe to do so. Again, we don't know anything about if people were injured as part of this, why that gas line was struck, if there was construction going on, if something happened specifically that would have actually triggered that that line to be struck. But again, there is some sort of explosion tied to a gas line there. We have our reporter Stephanie Quirk is heading up there. The Waldo Fire Department is on scene. Several Sheboygan County emergency management agencies as well. So when we get more information on that, we'll bring it to you both here on Fox Local as well as on the air on Fox 6 News at 4, 5, 6. Of course, our website, fox6now.com as well. As you come back here, again, it's been a really beautiful weather day. As you take a look outside, this is from our Esterbrook Tower cameras. Again, just a gorgeous afternoon. The clouds appear to have lifted some as we take a look around here. This is downtown where it's sunny. You can see Pfizer Forum off to the side there. City Hall is looking good. The flag flying high on top. That's certainly no problem. Take a peek out at the airport real quick. And yeah, things to be smooth there as well. And so, again, just kind of keeping an eye on everything as I'm looking at my email here. Okay, I'm going to bring it back to me to talk about that gas line explosion in Sheboygan County. I'm just reading my email here from TC Energy, which I understand operates a high-pressure gas line in that area, causing an explosion west of Cascade. TC Energy tells Fox 6 in an email that we are aware of this incident and are actively responding. We will provide more information as soon as possible. So that speaks to the urgency of what is happening. Certainly too soon for them to provide any sort of detailed information, again, on that pipeline explosion in Sheboygan County, north of Milwaukee. I just want to reiterate, we're unclear how exactly this pipeline was struck. We don't know what specifically happened or why, nor do we know if there are any injuries that first responders will be working to deal with. So as soon as we get that information, we'll bring it to you. I think we're going to step away for another quick break, and when we return, another look at what else is happening today. You're watching Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Home stretch. The weekend is almost here. I'm Sam Kramer. So glad that you are with us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Got another local event that we'd like to talk about that is happening this weekend, and that is in Watertown, where the city is inviting the community for the annual tree lighting there at Benson Family Town Square. Joining us to talk about that, Stephanie Jewell and Christine Buttress. Thank you both for making time for us. We appreciate it. Ooh, let me turn up the audio again. There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So tell us about this event for people that maybe haven't made it out to Watertown for the tree lighting, how big of an event is this there?
It's probably our largest event of the year. The weather's going to really help that this year, but this is our third year doing it here at the town square, and starts at 5:30. Yeah, it's going to be a big one this year, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. The weather always seems to help, and perhaps you guys have played it perfectly with that. I would imagine a town square like this is the perfect place to host this, right? It's surrounded by everything. It's got a lot of space for families. If families are going to show up to this, what do they get to experience?
Well, we have obviously our tree lighting. Steph put together a great Make Your Business Sparkle event as well down at the square. So we have many trees that are decorated by local businesses. So those will all be lit up as well along with the tree. We have many photo ops. These are a few of our photo ops. We have our large ornaments that people love to take pictures by. We have Santa that's going to be walking around. What else do we have?
We've got all kinds of treats. We've got some light up toys that are going to be, we've got coffee. Oh, we've got a coffee vendor that's going to be amazing. Yeah. Doing some fun drinks. Carolers, we've got some carolers coming. Our Blue Review, our local dance team will be performing. So yeah, we've got quite a bit going on.
A little bit of everything. I'm glad that you guys pointed out the ornaments, because I was questioning to myself, are these going on the tree? But no, they are just photo opportunities.
These are, yes. Yeah, yeah. Huge photo opportunity
How big
right
of a tree
there.
are we getting in Watertown? Goodness. But I just have to imagine this is it sounds like just a perfect family event. Like, bring the families out. What sort of feedback do you hear from them as far as kicking off the holiday this way?
Well, I mean, it's a big event for the families to come out. I don't know. I mean, it's a very warm, small town feel. I feel like I don't know, it's probably like just that warm, cozy feedback that we get from people.
Yeah, with our beautiful downtown that we have a beautiful historic downtown, and so this just kind of brings light to all of that. We've got an amazing shops along here. We have a beautiful library right next door. So many things to offer. It kind of gives that like Hallmarky kind of feel for the winter season. So it kicks everything off that way.
Stole the words out of my mouth. If you want to feel like you're going into a Hallmark movie, this sounds like the perfect event. Again, City of Watertown in Benton Family Town Square tomorrow at 5:30. Should be great, and sounds like good weather for it too. Stephanie, Christine, thank you so much for joining us on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thank you very much.
All right. So there you go. It's middle of November, and really the Christmas machine is just really starting to roar no matter where we are in southeast Wisconsin. A number of events. Again, Watertown kicking off with this annual holiday tree lighting. The Ingleside is starting the country Christmas with the walking nights. So Blink and Christmas Eve, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate is going to be here really before you know it. We've got just a couple of minutes left here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. I want to quickly touch again on the breaking news that we covered here as we handled the transition from 2:30, or from the second hour to the third hour, I should say, and that is we're following the breaking news out of Milwaukee that a 18-year-old student at a MPS high school was shot and killed today. MPS tells us that he was actually on early dismissal as part of his schedule, and left Asada High School, that's near 36th and Cortland, around 11:30 this morning, was walking, and Milwaukee police say just south of that school, near Hopkins and Glendale, a group of suspects attempted to rob this man that eventually escalated into a shooting that left two people shot, the 18-year-old man as well as a 17-year-old. Milwaukee police did not specify if that was a man or woman, a boy or girl. So we know the 18-year-old man who was shot worked his way back to the school to try and get some sort of help from the people there. They called police, they called 911, got him an ambulance, tried to take him to the hospital. Unfortunately, that 18-year-old man died as a result of his injuries. The 17-year-old suspect, who was, again, among this group of suspects, we don't know how many suspects there are. We don't know who's accused of pulling the trigger in this situation, but that 17-year-old suspect was hurt and arrested. And tonight, Milwaukee police tell us that they are looking for additional suspects. They don't know, as of this time, who they are looking for, not releasing the exact number of suspects that they are looking for. They didn't share any sort of photos or video. It's a little early for that in the investigation, but certainly that is something that is going to be a story to follow here, as a student was, again, just allowed early release at this kind of alternative high school. Again, it's Asada High School, shares a building there with Banner Prep, I believe, in Milwaukee's northwest side, and unfortunately dies as a result of what happened today. The other situation that we are following is north in Sheboygan County, where a gas line exploded. That is according to emergency officials there in Sheboygan County. This is just outside of Cascade, which is, as you can see on this map, on the west side of Sheboygan County. It's well west of I-43. Right now, the Sheboygan County Emergency Management Center tells us that they are setting up a 3-mile radius for an evacuation within that site. We actually just got an email from We Energies, which tells us that TC Energy, again, who we just talked about, is the owner of this natural gas, high-pressure natural gas line. Let's see. And We Energy says that this line delivers natural gas across long distances, which is then delivered to local utilities such as We Energies. At the request of local fire departments there, We Energies is on scene because fire departments are afraid of sparking from power lines in that area with the amount, which they're calling a large amount of natural gas being released. So 750 customers were taken out of service. So again, that speaks to the concern and need for that radius evacuation zone. Right now, We Energy says those closest to the explosion site are the only ones without power. That's down to 23 customers. So a lot happening at this hour. Keep it here on Fox Local or head over to our website, fox6now.com, for any more information. Otherwise, have a great weekend and thanks for joining us.
All island developing states, reform of how the council works is closely linked to reform of who sits on it. The council's membership still reflects an earlier era. The Maldives therefore repeats its call to establish a rotating seat for SIDS and address the historical injustices towards Africa on the council. This would bring the council's procedures, its membership, and its decisions closer to the realities of the world it's meant to serve, and make its protection feel real for those of us who rely on it the most. I thank you.
I thank the representative of the Maldives for his statement. I now give the floor to the representative of Burundi.